gotta. I actually queued a bunch of shit up early, so give me a minute to get my other platforms up. Wasn't gonna go live, but figured I'd come here and talk to the folks. So while the numbers are going up, I'll get my last platform going, and we should be able to get the party started momentarily. We're gonna be talking about the Save America Act, and of course, good evening, Kabira. We're gonna talk about the Save America Act, but of course, there's just the war just happens to be conversation that keeps on giving, and we're gonna talk about that. But a couple of things that President Trump did. One of them is kind of disturbing. I'm gonna see if I can find what I'm looking for to show you, but it's these things he's posted on his what do you want to call it? Um, it's this these videos he's posted on his fucking. Well, this is. I don't think this is even on the Truth Social page. I think he posted this on the White House site, and I mean, I'll play it for you in a minute here when I get this last platform going, but it's disturbing. I'm just going to say it like that. It is literally disturbing that he's doing this. Not that I would even, not, this wasn't even what I was going to talk about, to be honest with you. But it's just crazy to have a president doing this shit. Talking about Trump's news conference sounds crazy. Yeah, I saw his news conference today as well. And we're going to talk about that, obviously, because he keeps flip flopping between whether we can do all this shit alone or do we need help? First, he started out, with him and Netanyahu. They didn't need anybody. They could tame the world on their own. Then all of a sudden, when the Strait of Hormuz got closed, now all of a sudden he's asking for ships to come and help keep the strait open. And now that a lot of countries are denying sending the ships, he had a news conference today where we don't need anybody. Then why the hell you ask for them then? If you don't need anybody, then why were you asking for them? So he absolutely is. He absolutely is just a walking contradiction on that. But we'll talk about that in a minute once I get this other platform going, if it will. And it's looking like it's giving me problems. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I hate when it does this, but everything seems set, but it's not letting me. Okay, there we go. I think we're doing. So, what up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. You see me in my robe. I wasn't going to go live tonight, but I was talking to one of my MAGA friends. Some of you may have seen that. You may have seen that, and he inspired me to get on here and talk to you folks for a minute. Because, like I said, I was not originally going to go live, but he inspired me to get out here and talk to you. I was planning on sitting around watching the Chicago Bulls probably lose tonight, play a game or whatever. Just got off work, came home, kicked up my heels, put on my Gulf of Mexico t-shirt, established in 1550. I'm sure you all know what body of water we're talking about. The Gulf of Mexico, the actual name of it, established in 1550. Put on my Gulf of Mexico T-shirt, and I was going to chill for the night. But here I am, and of course there are things I want to talk to you about. As Mr. Rogers would say, there's things we want to talk about. And that's what we're going to do. So, good evening, folks. Looking in the comments, yes, Gulf of America is better. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because everybody knows the guy who created the term. And the guy who created the term is in nothing but controversy all the time. So I don't know if I don't agree with you that the Gulf of America is better. But if it had been named the Gulf of America back in the 1550s, Gulf of Americas, something like that, maybe, but unfortunately it's Gulf of Mexico. Because at the time when it was called Gulf of Mexico, all of the shit around it was Mexico. I think just about all of that was Mexico. So America was not a country, America was a continent, but it was not a country back in 1550. But most of the Gulf of Mexico was the shores of Mexico. Almost all of that was part of the country of Mexico. So it was a Gulf of Mexico. So a lot has changed since that happened, but we're not going to go too deep into that. So what I do want to talk to you about though is, first of all, in regards to the war, there's a few clips I want to play for you because this is a gem that I discovered today, and I thought it is worthy of discussing because we are currently at war with Iran. But what about when we were at war before?
Nancy Pelosi, the speaker. Well, when she first got in and was named speaker, I met her, and I'm very impressed by her. I think she's a very impressive person. I like her a lot.
Now he's talking about Nancy Pelosi. This is President Trump. This isn't real old. You see how he looks, but he's talking about Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. Listen to what he's saying.
Nancy Pelosi, the speaker. Well, when she first got in and was named speaker, I met her, and I'm very impressed by her. I think she's a very impressive person. I like her a lot. But I was surprised that she didn't do more in terms of Bush and going after Bush. It just seemed like she was going to really look to impeach Bush and get him out of office, which personally I think would have been a wonderful thing.
They're impeaching him?
Absolutely, for the war. For the war.
Because of the conduct of the war.
Well, he lied. He got us into the war with lies. And, look at the trouble Bill Clinton got into with something that was totally unimportant. And they tried to impeach him, which was nonsense. And yet Bush got us into this horrible war with lies, by lying, by saying they had weapons of mass destruction, by saying all sorts of things that turned out not to be true.
He really was a Democrat back then, was he not? Wow. So he wanted George Bush, according to him, to be impeached for lying about the war. Wow. Some of the things he say really aged like fine milk. Because we're at war now with Iraq's neighbor, and literally, I would say at least about 80 to 90% of the reason given for why we went to a war with Iraq is coming out of Trump's mouth for why we're going to war with Iran. Bad dictator, killing his own people, has weapons of mass destruction. This is literally the same reason we're going to war with Iran is the reason they gave us for going to war with Iraq. So we'll see, but you hear him saying that Nancy Pelosi was he really liked her. What happened? I think this is around 2008 or something like that. Wow, what happened to make him hate Nancy Pelosi so much? All of the shit you hear of my beloved MAGA, all the complaints they say about Nancy Pelosi, they were all relevant when he was saying that. She was still very far left. She was making a killing as a congresswoman, stock market, whatever. All of the stuff they complain about Nancy Pelosi doing now, she was certainly doing when Trump was saying he liked her so damn much. So what changed? Well, all of a sudden he doesn't like her anymore. Think about that. Nothing. This isn't that old. Nancy Pelosi hasn't changed that much from when he said this. So why did he like her then and speak so favorably of her then, and all of a sudden now he hates her? That's a good question. Rod S. Yeehaw! Appreciate the hat and mustache. In addition to talking about that, I also want to, if I can get my computer to act right, I want you to hear this. Because we often ask on this show, simple question. With the war that's going on, Venezuela, now we're talking about Cuba, Greenland was in there somewhere. We ask the question often on the show, are we the good guys? And my audio or my clip, for some reason, I don't know what happened to the sound of it, but we may not be to play this clip for some reason. It seems like they've killed the sound, but the question we ask is, are we the good guys? Why this clip isn't...
The study the other day put out by
go.
Lancet, which is a scientific journal, ruthless country, the amount of murder and mayhem that we've created around the world. I think that we are an incredibly ruthless country. The amount of murder and mayhem that we've created around the world is just unbelievable. I was looking at the study the other day put out by Lancet, which is a scientific journal, and they did a study. This was put out, you can see it on the internet, it was put out in November of 2025. And what the article did was it looked at sanctions, American sanctions, from 1971 to 2021. 1971 to 2021. And it asked what were the consequences of those sanctions. And we murdered 38 million people.
Wow.
38 million people. The amount of havoc we have wrought on the Middle East in recent years is just stunning. If you think about the consequences of the Iraq War, what we do in places like Venezuela, Cuba, Iran, you understand we're using this tremendous economic leverage we have to basically starve people, to make them suffer, to inflict great punishment on them so that they'll rise up against their government. You understand that this is what we were doing in Venezuela. This is what we're doing in Iran. We're inflicting massive punishment on these people. Given all that, I find it very difficult to talk about the United States as a noble country. I just don't think that we are exceptionally virtuous when it comes to foreign policy.
So can you make statements like that without folks saying you hate America? Now, he's obviously criticizing our nation, and he's obviously American. Is what he's saying inaccurate, though? Is he criticizing America and making up shit? Or is what he's saying actually happening? Because he is suggesting that between 1971 and 2021, U.S. foreign policy has killed as many as 38 million human beings. You hear him talking about how we starve other folks. Keep in mind, right now in Cuba, thanks to Trump's oil embargo, where that island nation can no longer receive fuel, now that we've taken control of the oil coming from Venezuela, who used to give them oil, they have no power in that country. They have no power in that country. So you think about all the things you need for power, whether it's vehicles, refrigeration, air conditioning on a hot tropical island. They don't have any power. You think no one has perished because of what we're doing? They're in the dark. Basically, I think they said in Cuba, the average Cuban has power like 3 hours a day. That's it. 3 hours a day. The rest of the day, they have no power at all. And in fact, I read an article today that said the whole continent, or the whole island, better yet, the whole country had a complete nationwide blackout because they're struggling so much. That's us. Cuba, the whole plight of how bad Cuba is suffering, that is coming from us. We can talk about Castro and his communist or socialist ways or whatever the case may be. But if America was not involved, that country would be doing significantly better than it is now. Their technology has been frozen in time because they're close enough to America that we can prevent anybody from coming to their country, bringing any goods and services to help them out. So we have kept that country in an impoverished, dilapidated state for, I think, most of our lifetimes. So when this man says that we're killing people, you gotta assume just Cuba alone, keeping them frozen in the 1950s, has caused people's deaths. You gotta assume just Cuba alone. We can talk about Haiti and a host of other countries. Now we can talk about Iran and all the deaths throughout the Middle East. So I'm asking that question. Are we the good guys? Are we the good guys? And this is pre-Trump. Obviously, under Trump, a lot more has happened, but you see him talking about from 1971 to 2021. So are we the good guys? When you look at what we do, or better yet, I would ask you guys also, is it unpatriotic to talk about this stuff? Because a lot of folks will say,
it's just unbelievable.
Bringing this stuff up, if you got to bring all this up, why don't you leave your country or whatever the case may be? So we'll talk about that. Also, what I want to run by you is the fact that President Trump has went back and forth. And we'll start taking callers. Tap the screen, get us up to 10,000, by the way. And thank you, Ben. What ED meds do you use? Can we get a discount link? Wrong live, but I appreciate the support. Also, I will say this. President Trump has went back and forth. First indicating that NATO was useless and we don't need NATO. NATO needs us. We don't need Canada. Canada needs us. And he took that mindset right into the Iranian war, conflict, excursion, whatever name you want to call it. By the way, for folks who insist that this is not a war, I don't have a clip queued up, but President Trump was asked, is this a war? And he said yes. So for folks who keep continuing to insist that this is not a war, President Trump has already answered and said yes, it is. So keep that in mind. But after saying that we didn't need any country, anybody's help, we don't need NATO and Canada and all of that other shit, and going into Iran, just this weekend, now he's asking several nations to send ships to help France, UK, Germany, South Korea, a host of countries. Most of them are not promising to send anything. In fact, Germany released a statement that said, this is not NATO's war. So he has not gotten a lot of help, even though the United States requested it. And keep in mind, with the United States being ahead of NATO and real big in the UN, we normally can call folks and get assistance like that. So the fact that Trump is asking for help and not getting it speaks volumes. But he had a conference today.
French President Macron about the coalition to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, I have spoken to him. He's been on a scale of 0 to 10. I'd say he's been an 8. Not perfect, but it's France. We don't expect perfect.
Are you confident that France will help with the reopening of Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think he's going to help. I mean, I'll let you know. I spoke to him yesterday. I don't do a hard sell on them because my attitude is we don't need anybody. We're the strongest nation in the world. We have the strongest military by far in the world. We don't need them. But it's interesting. I'm almost doing it in some cases, not because we need them, but because I want to find out how they react. Because I've been saying for years that if we ever did need them, they won't be there. Not all of them, but they won't be there. I was very surprised with the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom, 2 weeks ago, I said, why don't you send some ships over? And he really didn't want to do it. I said, you don't want...
I guess the point I want to make is, how do you get anywhere talking to people like this, treating people like shit? I mean, he said we don't need Canada, Canada needs us. We don't need NATO, NATO needs us. I mean, obviously talked about taking Greenland, has already invaded Venezuela, threatening Cuba. How do you get anywhere when you're treating everybody like shit? Saying negative things about personal, better yet, prime ministers and things like that. I mean, listen, even if he is correct, let's go with the notion, because I see like Duke in the comments is saying we don't need anybody. Okay, let's say you don't need anybody. How does it benefit you to basically talk to people like this? I don't see the purpose of doing this, other than to literally try to make other nations feel smaller or basically treat them like shit. And as I'm saying, that is why you see him calling for these nations to send ships to the Strait of Hormuz, and nobody's doing it. I don't think these nations, and I'm talking about NATO member nations, I'm talking about the UK, I don't think they see America as an ally with Trump at the helm. I don't believe they see us as an ally right now, because Trump became president and essentially said, ain't none of you guys allies. So they're treating him like he's treating them. Remember, Trump, Liberation Day, tariffed all of them, said they weren't, they were ripping off America. Same thing he also said about the NATO, wanted them to increase their defense spending and all that. I mean, he's been criticizing the NATO member nations since he became a politician. So with him suggesting all of you guys, in terms of NATO, everybody should carry their own weight. If America gets in a war that they don't feel is necessary, it was not threatening any of them, wouldn't it be fair for them to tell America, you need to carry your own weight as well? We're no longer doing anything above and beyond for them. So they're going to respond and say, well, you're not giving us all of the tariff benefits you claimed that we were getting. You took all that away. So if you're not going to do anything for us, why do you expect us to come running when you need help now? You want us equal, right? We want to be equal. And I will submit to you that on the world stage, when it comes to UN meetings and NATO meetings, that's probably what's going to happen. Is that they're now going to suggest you don't do anything special for us anymore. Don't expect anything special in return. So we'll talk about that. Nevertheless, and thank you. Somebody said the Galaxy. I didn't see who that was, but thank you. So getting into the program, I do want to ask you guys right off the bat. President Trump is suggesting that Nancy Pelosi should have impeached Bush. Do you believe President Trump could face impeachment for our war in Iran? So we'll make it happen. We'll start the show off with the one and only MAGA Reacts. Good evening, MAGA. What have you done for me lately? Yeah, that is Trump's motto, I believe. Shout out to Janet Jackson. MAGA Reacts. Good evening. Welcome to the program. If I got you. Yeah. You got a major echo.
I got them all out.
MAGA, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, you picked me. Yeah, just got on.
Okay. So
What's going on? What are we talking about today?
we're talking about President Trump is on video saying that George W. Bush should have been impeached for lying about the Iraq war. Could that come back to bite him?
When did he say this?
2008. You want to hear the clip?
Man, nothing from 2008 is going to come back.
You said what?
No, I believe you. Nothing from 2008 is going to come back and bite him.
Shit,
Why are we even talking about this?
the crime bill came back and bit Biden from 94. Kamala Harris sleeping with Willie Brown came back from 30 years ago. What do you mean it ain't going to come back?
Because Kamala Harris has nothing to run on, so there's nothing else to talk about than how she got her job. Like, you know, there's nothing. Most of the shit that was talked about her was made up. Like, oh, just because she was a prosecutor, she's fucking. It gives her the skill to be president, and just because she did this and got elected here, like a lot of her, she had nothing to talk about. That's why we have to go all the way back to the beginning to talk about her.
That's not
and
true.
As far as the crime bill,
Wait, hold on.
People in jail today.
You're totally wrong. You're totally undermining Kamala Harris's resume. She was far more than just.
Her resume is garbage. She failed upwards. She did nothing as a prosecutor. Her fucking underlings do most of the work, and she takes the credit.
How the hell do you know that?
Because that's what most prosecutors
That's
are.
not true.
Look at Andy Willis. Look at all these other people.
That is not true.
Seen in court, it's amazing if they're actually seen in court.
First of all, she wasn't just a prosecutor; she was district attorney and attorney general of California.
That's what I meant. A prosecutor, you would see more. The district attorney is just the person on top, bossing them around.
So they just
do as much or as little work as they want.
So in other words, you're saying that Pete Hegseth has just failed upward, huh?
Yeah, he did actually.
Okay.
I'm not denying that.
Then they all do it. Then what is so much different than her? Then, I mean, you would say the same about Kristi Noem.
Hegseth's not president, first of all, and no one is saying Pete Hegseth is the shit. I mean,
bullshit. I get MAGA to say Pete Hegseth is great all the time.
I mean, he might be doing an okay job now, but I don't think he deserved that position.
You think Kristi Noem deserved it?
I don't know. She was also one of those prosecutors. I don't know if it was her or Bondi. I think Bondi was also like the prosecutor / Florida DA. I don't know Kristi Noem.
I'm going to tell you.
I can't tell you if she deserved it or not.
Kamala Harris, district attorney, attorney general, U.S. senator, and then she became a vice president, and then she ran for president. Her resume is complete. She has the resume of somebody. Obama was only a senator. He was a Harvard law professor, community organizer, and then he was a U.S. senator for a handful of years. Her resume is actually better than Obama's.
Well, Obama didn't win because of his resume. He won because of his charisma and charm, and the fact that anytime you asked him a question, he knew the answer. Harris is the opposite. She couldn't answer shit unless she memorized the answer and it's like a question she knew was coming. Like you couldn't like if you go off script just a little bit, Harris is stumped. While Obama, you could ask him anything, and he'll have a very good answer to that question. I mean, you're talking about the most charismatic president we've ever had.
Well,
versus Harris, that couldn't hold an interview by herself. She had to have her VP with her.
Well, that's the part. That's the part where I say I believe Kamala Harris wasn't a good candidate because as a candidate, your job is to sell yourself. In fact, when you're running for as a politician, oftentimes your resume ain't really necessary. It's how well you can talk to the people. And I think that you're right. Obama was able to, and Trump are able to talk to the people and energize them more than Kamala Harris. But resume-wise, Kamala Harris had a resume. But you got to guess, MAGA. We'll talk more on the other side, but you got to guess. Mike, good evening.
Man, if you don't, what's up, Tim? If you don't stop letting this man slander her resume, if you don't let this
her
man...
Her resume's garbage.
I don't think he knows what her resume is.
I know.
She was district attorney for a bunch of places, and then she ran for senator.
Let me hear him, Mike. Give me her qualifications, Mike.
I know. So, well, he's saying her resume was garbage. So I want to ask him what her resume is. He said it was garbage. What is it?
She was district attorney of like San Francisco, and then she was district attorney of fucking California. And then she was a senator for California.
She was attorney general. She was attorney general.
Yeah, that's a step up.
Attorney general, district attorney is basically the same thing.
No, it's not.
Two different positions. And
what's the difference between a district attorney and an attorney general?
Was she appointed to those? Was she appointed, or was she voted into those positions?
A little bit of both, but she was voted. I'll give you that. She was voted. But it was California.
So no, that's not it. So she was district attorney, attorney general, senator, vice president. What part of her resume is not complete, sir?
I didn't say it wasn't complete. I just think she didn't fucking earn them.
I didn't ask you what you think.
She got elected into those positions in a state that's all.
I didn't ask you what. I didn't ask you what you think.
Anybody with an E next to their name would have won all those positions.
Magarias, can you quit just I didn't ask you what you think. With every presidential candidate we've had in the history of this country, where does she rank with her resume? Do you know?
I don't know. Probably somewhere in the middle.
No,
she's the worst. She's the top.
She's actually number one, sir.
How I didn't know that. One? Trump was actually president before.
Sir,
he had 4 years running as president.
Her resume as a candidate.
Also, what does district attorney have to do with being president?
Why are you moving the goalposts? Politically speaking, listen. She was a candidate.
I don't think she was a hard worker. She took the first 37 days with no interviews.
Magarias, are you just going to just talk?
She wasted 37 of them.
Magarias, are you just going to keep talking, or are we going to have a conversation? Number one.
You don't want to have a conversation. You want to lead me into certain.
No, I'm not. I know you're fearful, but just listen.
Go ahead.
She was elected locally, San Francisco. She was elected at the state level, and then she was elected as a senator, and then she was elected as the vice president. Name me the other presidential candidate with her resume. Can you do that?
I don't know the resume of every presidential candidate.
You want me to help you out?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that one either, Mike. Help me out.
She is the only one. Maybe another one, but it's either her and one other person. Period.
You know, to me, Kamala Harris is like the person who shows up to the interview that has the resume but still don't get the job because of the way she is talking in the interview. I just think that as a candidate, she did not do a good job selling herself. Now, Biden didn't give her much time. That's a big problem too. But I don't think.
Even with the time she wasted the first 30 days. 30 days, not a single interview.
Magarias, how many other? And here's an anomaly. When the incumbent runs, does anyone else, when the incumbent runs, do they typically have competition from their same party?
No.
Why is that?
Because they're usually a shoo-in.
Because everyone gets behind the incumbent that wants to run for a second term.
And that's what fucked up the Democrat parties. They didn't challenge Biden like that.
Correct. So the anomaly was
even with the time they had, she wasted her first 37 days, and then
you're not listening.
Interview had
you're not listening. Listen, you're not listening because everything you said. Okay,
what are you trying to lead me into? What do you want me to lead?
I'm not leading you into anything. I'm walking you through facts. I'm not leading you anywhere.
You're walking me, not leading me. It's the same. It's synonyms, buddy.
No. Well, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it dancing, skipping, tootsie rolling, whatever you want to call it. My whole point is this. When you say she wasn't qualified, when you say she wasn't a good candidate, when you say all these things, you don't have anything to support those positions other than rhetoric. But I can tell you this. If you go back to the debate,
First of all,
I'm going to say this and you can say whatever you want. When you go back to her debate with Donald Trump, I don't know if you've done this, everything that she said we need to be concerned with and worried about, a second Donald Trump presidency is happening right now.
That actually is true. Yeah, that's true.
Now, with that being said, show me where she wasn't competent enough to articulate that then, and we're living it now. I'll go on.
First of all, that debate, she pretty much knew Trump's answers because he's been repeating himself the entire time.
That's not what I asked you,
What the hell she was going to say.
That's not what I asked you.
She memorized basically the answers. Those weren't answers off the top of her head. That was just a script she memorized. She knew exactly what Trump was going to say. We all knew what he was going to say.
Now you're bullshitting. See, you can never have again, if she knew everything, so what you're saying is he's so predictable that she was able to predict what he was going to say. Is that what you're saying?
That's what he's saying.
Okay, that's what I thought. Lastly, I'm going to say this for my galaxy. Because you guys have been talking about how strong Donald Trump is, right? You guys have been talking about his strength.
I don't know. Well, he obviously has some successful businesses, but he has some that failed as well. To me, Trump's biggest strength is when you go to his rallies, and as somebody who's been to a couple of myself, his biggest strength is he knows how to energize a crowd. I mean, even if what he's saying is not true or never going to come true, he has a way to make you want to root for him.
And that's fine. And I don't disagree with. Oh, where did he go? Him left? Come here, MAGA Reacts.
He had time left.
Come here, MAGA. Come here,
Just
MAGA.
stop that.
Come here, MAGA. Because I wanted to ask him this last question, which is this. And I told you this months ago. He's so strong, and I told you that was false bravado. I've been telling you this shit for months. He can't get our allies to move the way he wants them to move right now. He cannot make them. He's telling them to. Now we need help. Didn't he just say last week we didn't need no fucking help?
Yeah, I actually think that. Yeah, I actually think the fuck everybody opening act that he did, and MAGA loves this shit. I think the fuck everybody is what has done it. I think under normal circumstances, even if the U.S. gets itself involved in a conflict that is nobody else's business, we would have been able to get other nations, just like George W. Bush did with the Coalition of the Willing, to join and fight in a war that they really didn't support. But when you start out with fuck everybody and you're threatening to take Greenland, you're tariffing all the countries, you're saying horrible, embarrassing shit about prime ministers and things like that, like you don't leave them any incentive whatsoever to want to help you. I mean, the way he's treated them has been horrible.
But it's him, and I fuck with you, but I gotta hold you. I gotta hold you accountable. You were calling that a strength. You were calling that one of his strengths.
Not to fuck everybody.
No. But no, you said he's always out there talking and saying these things. And
I do think Trump talking to the people, and I want to say transparent, even if it's not always honest. I think talking to the people is a strength, but destroying world leaders, that's a strength for him in America with his supporters and things like that. It's not a strength from him internationally, because internationally you're exposing yourself to some degree as a liar, not to mention as a narcissist, and now looking like a warmonger. But like, for instance, when I say a liar, I'm talking about getting on television and saying that Iran bombed their own school full of girls. The whole world community knows that's not true. And then saying Iran had tomahawks. I'm sure we got allies that were not allowed to buy tomahawks, so they know Iran don't have these. So him talking every day is a strength with MAGA and many Americans. But to the international community, it's not helping them out at all.
But Tim, it wasn't a strength for us. This is why I'm going to push back again. You can bring it back up. This is why I'm going to push back again. It was never a strength for us, only his base, because he was telling the same lies nationally. You're not suggesting that he's only an international liar, are you?
No, he lies, but I think the people here are okay. Now, you guys had expired 5, so I'll give you guys another 5 before we go, but go ahead.
That's cool. So my point about what we're saying, Kamala Harris predicted all of these things. Now, you can say that she studied them or whatever, MAGA Reacts, or you can say because she was the vice president for the 4 years preceding that she has intelligence. And by the way, he did have indictments, classified documents that they were able to review before the debates. You could say that they knew what he was going to do because it was already written. Now I'm whispering a little bit because I don't want to upset everybody.
Well,
but maybe
they knew exactly what he was going to do because he said it in every one of his rallies.
And it's documented.
Fear-mongering
MAGA reacts.
To be semi-correct.
Yeah, but what you guys call fear-mongering, they wrote down. That's why she knew it. See, here's the thing. You guys don't read. Of course she knew what a second president should, because they told us already. They've been telling us what it was going to look like. Of course she understands classified docs. Of course she's seen the J6 indictment. Of course she saw.
He didn't need any of that. He said everything he was going to do in his rallies.
No, he said everything he was going to do in Project 2025.
And Buckeye in the comments says, I wonder if she
things match Project 25.
Yeah, and Buckeye in the comments says, you say you wonder if she predicted her husband was going to get the babysitter pregnant. That's not relevant to this. I mean, I wonder if Melania Trump predicted that Trump was going to bring a porn star home. Now, I don't think that's relevant.
Exactly.
Go ahead. Exactly. Yeah, that's not relevant.
He brought her home. He probably fucked her.
Wait a minute, MAGA. Wait a minute, MAGA reacts. What did you just say? I want you to repeat what you said.
Which part? About him fucking her in the hotel, or?
No. Before that.
About what? About Harris?
You said about Harris predicting what?
What do you mean? She knew all the answers because he said everything he was going to do in his rallies. I mean...
Or did they say it in... No, you said just because
it was general fucking fear-mongering. So
no, what you
if
said
you're American enough, you become a fortune teller.
No. Now what I remember what you said. You said just because a few things align with Project 2025. That's what you said. Is it a few things or everything?
I'll tell you.
I mean, it's a conservative viewpoint, and I'm not conservative, but of course they're gonna do some shit conservative. Part of the fucking base is conservative, so that's what sucks about having so many different people under the same tent. You have to try to keep them all happy. But honestly, he's dropped the ball with some of us. I'm not gonna tell you Trump is doing a good job right now.
Did Trump say at any of his rallies that he was gonna liberate Iran or Cuba? Did he ever say that?
Well, he says he's gonna put down red lines.
It's just a simple yes or no, sir.
He's gonna fucking.
It's just a simple yes or no. Tim, you went to
that's a good. No, Trump never talked about. He absolutely never even brought Venezuela up.
He talked about when he puts the red line down, he's actually gonna enforce it. And his red line was them killing their people. And after they killed those 30,000 people, he's there a month later.
Ice skating around with your triple X. Did he ever in his rallies talk about liberating any other country? Just yes or no?
I guess I don't know. No,
the answer would be no, because you know why? This isn't about liberating anybody. I'm gonna drop back down to give you your time back. But MAGA reacts. All I'm asking you to do is just fucking read. Just read.
I read a lot. I'm very well informed. I don't know what else you want from me.
All right, Mike. That's a hell of a statement. I appreciate you coming through, Mike. Thank you.
That's just like a general. What do you want me to read? There's so much shit. There's unlimited shit to read. There's no way I could read everything.
Well, before we finish up with you, Handsome Conservative says Kamala Harris was placed as vice president. She did not earn any position and couldn't even be elected for president when she ran. Well, she actually earned all of those lower positions. That's what Mike was talking about. Her attorney general and district attorney, those are positions she was voted into those positions. Same thing with her on the U.S. Senate of California. She was voted. Now, I hear MAGA react say, well, she's a Democrat. Anybody with a D. You think she's the only Democrat that ran for those? She won those positions in California. So she did earn all of those. Now, Biden
and that's the reason why, no matter how good what's his name is, he's never going to be president.
What are you talking about?
Newsom. He's never going to be president because he's from California.
I can't speak on whether or not he'd be president, but what I'm saying is she, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene is no more qualified in her job than Kamala Harris is. She's far right in a far right area. Kamala Harris was far left in a far left area. So she did earn her position.
I don't think MTG would be a good president. I wouldn't vote
I'm not talking about, you're saying, he's saying she didn't earn those other positions. He says she didn't earn any position. So that's not true. She earned those lower positions. She earned those.
Good evening, everybody.
Being district attorney or attorney general has nothing to do with being president. Being senator, sort of, but even then, you're only like casting a vote every now and then. Like
I disagree with that. It's a position of leadership. Most politicians are attorneys first. I disagree with that. I mean, Trump, or better yet, Obama. Obama's main claim to fame was him having a law background. He was a community organizer, and he was a Harvard law professor. That's all he had, and then he became a senator. He wasn't a bad president. He wasn't a businessman or any of that other shit. So being a lawyer is where most politicians start.
Listen, I liked Obama. I think he was very charismatic. I think he was very qualified for that job. But the problem with him is his policies suck, or the Democrat Party's policy sucked.
Well, you lean left. I mean, you lean right. I understand that. Just like anybody on the left is.
What do you mean? I was a Democrat back then. How are you going to tell me that? I was a Democrat back then.
What makes you a Democrat?
Back then, I voted for Obama twice. I was very liberal. I don't know.
So what policies? So why are you saying Obama's policies suck?
Because they sucked. Because I remember what happened to Egypt. I remember what happened to most of the Libya, Syria. I was paying attention through all of that.
What did you want him to do? You wanted him to bomb Syria?
But it was painful.
You wanted him to bomb Syria?
No, but whatever. I mean, he did a horrible job in Syria. And if Trump ends up doing a bad job in Iran, like Obama in Syria, he's going to be on my shit list too.
What about Obama's domestic policies? Because most Americans don't give a damn about handling Syria. You're from the region, so you care about. Most Americans don't give a shit about Syria.
I care more about Egypt specifically than Syria.
And most Americans don't give a damn about Egypt. So what has he done domestically?
Domestically, it wasn't that he was bad. It was just mediocre. Like the recovery from the 2008 collapse, which it was going to be tough for anybody, was just very slow. It took us forever to get back on our feet. And it just took forever. And but he did an okay job. I don't think the economy was that bad under him. But then Trump took over, and everything was going really fast until COVID, and then COVID threw everything off.
No, COVID didn't throw everything off. Trump's handling of COVID threw everything off. His handling of COVID was terrible.
I think his handling of COVID was fine. Especially since Biden took over and he had a freaking vaccine and he still didn't do any better. I mean, he did way worse than Trump. We had no 9% inflation under Trump. We had no supply chain issues.
You actually think
a year after Biden?
You actually think Trump handled the pandemic fine?
I mean, there was no handling it good. Like, it was going to be a shit show no matter what. And I think the fact that he got the vaccine in under a year, that our supply chain was pretty good.
You think he did?
He did an okay job, and I don't see Biden didn't do better. If Biden had taken over and everything ran like clockwork, so I'd be like, okay, Biden did a better job. But Biden didn't do a better job.
Yeah, I gotta move it on because for time we've had your time, but Biden did a significantly.
Somebody just galaxied me again.
Yeah, I don't think they were trying to get. I think they were trying to get in. I don't think they're trying to get you. But MAGA, thanks for coming through, man. All right, appreciate it. Looking in the comments here, I don't know, my screen is all frozen up, doing all kinds of weird shit here. And thank you for the super chat. Who sent that? I need my fucking glasses, and I don't have them. I'm gonna read it with my eyes as good as I can. Democrats gave us Trump by blocking Bernie Sanders. Wow. And a lot of people agree with that. Going for Hillary. I think Democrats gave you Trump also by putting in Barack Obama. That upset a lot of people. But he says that's the absolute truth. Sanders was our only good option. I don't know. The right would probably disagree with that. Political money killed us. Future books will agree if they are still allowed. Damn, you think we're going down the road that bad? Let me go back to the box. Bernie Sanders, the only good option. I don't know. I'll just say this, and I know I'm going to get hammered by my beloved MAGA for this, but I actually believe Hillary Clinton would have been a fine president. I think compared to what we've seen since, I think Hillary Clinton would have been a fine president. I think she would have been um, a boring politician. Yeah, she would have probably been doing some crooked shit. You don't think Trump is doing anything crooked? You don't think Biden did anything crooked? I mean, her family might have been getting a little bit of money on the side. I think Trump's family is getting more money than anybody. But I think Hillary Clinton would have been a fine president. I think she would have been better than Kamala Harris. I think she would have been better than Joe Biden. I think she would have been a fine president for the nation. And a lot of the status quo, America as a superpower, et cetera, would have continued. I actually think she would have been a fine president. But she didn't, obviously, she did not make it. And here we are. And thank you for that very generous super chat. Why even try? Love that. Thank you very much. So Biden 2016 would have won and did okay job before dementia kicked in, says MAGA Reacts. Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. I think Kabira had dropped that galaxy there. Thank you, Kabira. Good evening, by the way. Kabira.
Good morning. Good evening, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing. We can go with morning. It's morning in Iran.
Good morning from Iran.
Okay. So what brings you up? What am I getting wrong here? Now we've talked. I don't know why my damn sound card, but we've talked about Kamala Harris. Am I getting it wrong on her? I think she was a bad candidate, but had a great resume.
No, you're not. You know, I'm from California, and MAGA Reacts. He's about as lost as a kitten in the woods. Number one, Ronald Reagan was from California.
True.
Right.
So was Schwarzenegger. So was Schwarzenegger. Right.
And so, exactly. Pete Wilson. We have had several Republican presidents, and Reagan became governors, and Reagan became president twice.
Yeah.
So MAGA Reacts, shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about. So far as VP Harris, the first time I ran across her was during when she was running for Attorney General. So what I do is, they send you the pamphlets, and so then I Googled her and the people she was running against. I said, okay, bam. I chose her. And even when she ran for senator, right? Okay. Because I knew the qualifications she brought. So, basically, Tim, what it boils down to is people don't want to admit it. It's either misogyny or bigotry.
Well,
Trump can't even construct a sentence well.
Damn. Well, listen, when it comes to somebody like Kamala Harris, there's going to be some misogyny and bigotry involved in it for certain. But I think I think her gender hurts more than her race. I think there's more misogynistic folks in this, misogynistic voters than there are racist voters, because there are even a lot of black people and Hispanic folks, people of color, that don't believe a woman should lead this nation. So the misogyny is off the chain. I believe it's more misogyny than it is racism.
That's true, but the black is the cherry on top. How about that?
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, but Hillary Clinton dealt with misogyny. A lot of folks, I don't care who it is. I got some MAGA guests that say it all the time.
I voted for Hillary.
Do you think she would have been? So you do think she would have been a good president? Is what I was saying.
Exactly.
Think she would have been better than Biden?
Senator.
Think she would have been better than Biden?
I think so. After all, we have to remember she was a senator from New York, and she was a Secretary of State.
Yep.
Plus, she was a first lady, so she knew her politics. Plus, she was a lawyer.
Should so with you running it down like that, we were talking about Kamala Harris's resume. She might have had a better resume than Kamala Harris.
She was good, but let's put it like this: Republicans have a way of messaging something to make an intelligent person seem like a demon, right?
You gotta elaborate. Explain what you mean by that.
And Republicans fell out with her when when Clinton had his little thing with Monica Lewinsky, and she said in the interview, "If you think I'm gonna be like Tammy Wynette and sit at home and bake cookies and stand by my man, you're wrong." And so with that, they took offense.
I don't get that.
Where she was coming from.
I don't get that. Okay, Bill Clinton obviously cheated on his wife. And his wife
Just
stood
like
by.
Donald Trump?
Yeah, right. I was gonna say that. And his wife stood by and said, Melania Trump is standing by Trump's side, and there's no doubt that he's done the same thing. And no, and they're not criticizing Melania Trump for standing by her man. Why did Hillary Clinton get banged so much?
Because they, you know, a MAGA mind is a terrible thing to have. It's the only thing I can think of, Tim. These people have no critical thinking skills.
I don't know. You know, some of it is hypocrisy. I guess if it was reversed, the Democrats might do the same thing. It could be politics, but yeah, I don't. If you're going to complain about Hillary Clinton standing by an obvious cheater, and you're going to ignore Melania Trump doing the same thing, I mean, there's so much circumstantial evidence of Trump out there talking about everything from underage girls to overage girls. Like this guy was not faithful. And she's standing by him. In fact, Melania Trump told the late Barbara Walters, who asked her during an interview, how did you meet Trump? She said he was actually on a date with another woman, snuck away from her, and gave her his number. They exchanged numbers. She said she didn't even want to give it to him at first. So, like, how can you go after Hillary Clinton for what she's doing and ignore all of that?
Tim, like I said, you cannot explain a MAGA mind. You know, I was on a live. I was listening to a live earlier, and some person who was in the box said, "Why do we have to go by what he did in the past?" Listen, a person character matters. So Bill, he fooled around on his wife. You know, he had this other little scandal back when he was a governor of Arkansas, was it? Fooling around with a woman.
Yeah.
But these things have to come out, and you have to decide then and there. But everything that comes out of Trump's mouth is a lie. You know, let me tell you this, Tim. I was watching Anderson Cooper.
Okay.
And so, look, Trump says, now listen to this slide. Trump brought up, he goes, you know, another president said to me, God, what you're doing with Iran is a good thing. I wish I would have thought of that.
Yeah, he did say that. I'm baffled. Like, who the hell would have? What president? Because most of them ain't even talking to him. Like, what president told you that?
So the reporter brought him up on the carpet and said, "Can you tell me which president?" Well, I'm not going to disclose that. I don't want to embarrass the guy. You know, I mean, everything comes out of this guy's mouth is a lie, and these people just suck it up like you're sucking something through a straw.
Oh my God!
You know, and they believe this foolery.
And already, I think the Bill Clinton's, I want to say secretary or his team, they've already released a statement and said we didn't talk to Trump about, because he's claiming that somebody told him, we wish you had done. Because for folks who didn't hear what you just said. Trump stated today in a press conference that one of the living presidents, so that would have to be Bush, Obama, or Bill Clinton, or Joe Biden, one of them told him, I wish I had have done in Iran what you are doing right now. And he was questioning, he won't tell you who it is. So the Bill Clinton side has already came out and said, we didn't talk to him about this shit. So take Bill Clinton saying it didn't happen. Only other person would be George Bush. If George Bush, because you know Obama and Biden ain't talking to that motherfucker at all. So if Bush comes forward and says, I agree with you, I don't think that happened at all. I think he's making that up.
And you know, even at dignitary funerals, right? Mm-hmm. None of them speak to Trump.
Right.
So why would all of a sudden they speak to him on the backside?
Yeah, I don't.
And like you said earlier, Trump, he's talked badly about our allies. He's bullied his way. We don't need anybody else. Liberation Day, they're stealing from us. We don't need NATO. Now he's dug himself into this quagmire. He doesn't know how to get himself out of this quagmire. And he's going around begging for help. No one will help him. Even Germany said, nope. We're not going to help you. He's even asked China. China said, that's not our business.
I think France is, because France had originally said they weren't sending. I think France has changed their tune. So I think he may get a couple French ships. But the problem is, once any of these ships get hit by Iran and take casualties, is Iran now at war with France? Does it spread to another country, or does France, similar to what happened in Iraq when the Filipinos started getting beheaded? It's like, fuck it, we out of here. It was a coalition of the willing to help George W. Bush. But when they started taking casualties, they left. So if the French, one of their boats gets droned or hits a mine, Do they stay there and start fighting the Iranians with Netanyahu and Trump, or do they pack up and leave?
Well, I don't mean to give you pushback, Tim, but so that I know of, because my TV stays on news channels, and also I watch Al Jazeera and British Broadcasting System and Canadian Broadcasting Company. France has not said yes they would help Trump.
Okay.
Another reason why none of these ships will assist Trump. Now, I'm not talking about militarily. I'm talking about the ships that carry this cargo. What insurance company will insure these cargo ships?
Well, these are warships. I don't think they're going to send in.
No, but they need the cargo, right? The oil, everything
Yeah.
else, right? This one.
Well,
So
I suppose you would have to. I suppose you would have to use a warship to escort the cargo ships through. I don't know.
Exactly.
So you saying, I thought, well, you know, because I thought I saw articles online saying France was participating, but now that I'm looking at it, this stuff is like 2 weeks old. So no, you're right. They're not agreeing. So right now, nobody's helping the Trump administration, but Netanyahu.
See, and this is what happens when you have the best brain, when you have a better brain than the generals. Remember you said that in his first term? I have a better brain than
That's
the
your
generals.
president.
I have the best brain.
Yeah, that's your
See,
president.
so he didn't even have any forethought. He, like he said today, he didn't think that Iran would boom other countries. Well,
yeah, he's really and thank you, Sexy Red. Appreciate those. No, he's really greatly underestimated Iran. That's why I believe this whole conundrum. I think that President Trump got a lot of an ego boost in regards to how easy Venezuela was. And I think he thought that Iran would fall similar. I mean, because at the end of the day, our military is significantly more mighty than Iran. But the asymmetrical warfare aspect of it, shutting down the Strait of Hormuz aspect of it, attacking other nations in the region aspect of it, is something I don't think they expected. Iran is doing a whole lot of shit they weren't expecting.
They did, this is where not only do you need allies across the water, but if you remember from Trump's first term, he told his team, don't talk to anyone from former administrations. We don't need their help. If you remember the Bay of Pigs, John F. Kennedy went to Eisenhower for advice on how to handle the Bay of Pigs. And because of the presidency, there is no other job like it. You would need former presidents to maybe give you some advice and to guide you. But if you have the best brain, you don't need any advice, which is now he's dug himself into this quagmire and he's drug us into it, the American people. Yeah. And this is where we are, Tim.
That's a great point, because I've talked to a lot of my MAGA friends, and what they're saying is President Trump should get credit because he stepped up and did something with Iran that all the other presidents, basically failed to do, or they were lollygagging on. And my stance is exactly what you just said. Before you go and do this with Iran, you need to call those other presidents rather, because all of them were complaining about Iran. Obama had complaints on Iran, so did Bush, Biden, all of them. You should call them and ask them, you guys saw the same shit I seen. Why didn't you do anything about it? Or some of the generals that are still working, that were there during those administrations, why didn't they do anything about this then? Because some of them would tell him the difficulty of why we didn't jump into this. If we jump into this, they may do that, or they may do this, or we heard they may. And if he had actually got that advice, we might not be in Iran. But him thinking that all of these other presidents were just a failure at their job, and he's just gonna go ahead and dive in. But yeah, you should have called those previous administrations and asked them, consider how much problems you have with Iran, just like I am. Why didn't you guys take the initiative and do anything about it? And first hear their answers before launching an attack.
Exactly. He didn't, you need to get a hold of former national security advisors. All of these people, this is one reason why you have a transfer of power. When someone loses the presidency, another person wins, they sit back and they collab and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. and you'd say, this is what's going on in this region, and this is the reason why we didn't do this in this region, and this region, and this region. Trump never thought about how Iran would take care of Kuwait, all the surrounding countries.
But what about Hegseth? You think? I mean, Hegseth is former military, low level.
Stop.
Huh?
Sam, stop it. Look, I'm gonna put it like this. I was a sergeant in the United States Army.
I didn't know that.
All right.
Okay.
Now, yes, Pete Hegseth was a major. Let's look at it as lower enlisted and officers, because that's the way it's broken down. I'm sorry, enlisted and officers. 04 in the military is either a corporal, a specialist. I don't know if they call them in the Air Force or the Navy, but it's only an E4.
Mm-hmm.
04 as an officer is only a major. I mean, they're not even above a lieutenant colonel, not above a full bird colonel, not above just a regular general, a brigadier general. If you're going to have someone who is going to be over the Department of Defense, they need to, for number one, have been retired from the military, high-ranking official. Now,
well, they don't. Why don't they need to be retired though?
Because usually by then by the time someone's a general and they retired, they're into OPSEC. OSEC. I forget exactly how you pronounce it. They're in a lot of things. They're under big commands.
I agree with that they should be seasoned and fairly high ranking. But let's take somebody like Norman Schwarzkopf, the late Schwarzkopf from the first Gulf War, and people were indicating he might run for president. I don't think he needed to be retired. I think he would have been a shoo-in for a role like that without having to retire. So I don't know if I agree with the retired aspect. I agree with everything else you said, but I don't know about same thing with Colin Powell. I think that he could have done that role. Well, he was doing that role. So I mean,
you're right.
Yeah, so I don't think they need to be retired.
I'll give that to you, but they have tons of experience.
Yeah,
not some little 04 major. That's just one step over a captain.
Yeah. And I gotta assume
a major is a flunky for usually a major is a flunky for a lieutenant general. Usually the major is the one who drives the general's Jeep.
I gotta assume that there is a lot of those, because he called all those generals, was it to DC or whatever, they all had to sit before Trump in Hegseth. I gotta assume a lot of them really don't have a lot of respect for Hegseth, considering, like you said, they're so highly ranked above him. To have a guy this low walking around barking orders at you, because listen, I'm a former union employee, and I know how folks with a lot of seniority feel about some kid coming right out of college, and all of a sudden now he's your manager, and he don't know nothing about the job. I know how folks feel about that. And having a general or a full board colonel looking at Hegseth like, who the fuck are you? Because you talk about DEI, wouldn't he qualify as that?
He would definitely qualify it. Right, he did. Pete Hegseth, and I don't like the way he's flip-flopped to kiss Trump's behind, and I don't like his politics. But Rubio was suited for Secretary of State.
I got a friend that suggested Rubio would make a great commander-in-chief after Trump. What say you?
Well, I say no, because he didn't even win the 2016 election. He fell by the wayside. He tried to be a mini Trump, and it didn't work out for him. He's a follower. He's not a leader. But he was more. I think if he had been a Secretary of State for somebody like Bush, he would have been a decent Secretary of State. You know what I mean? But
oddly enough, then he kind of has the same qualifications of Kamala Harris. He just has been in office more. But I mean, some of the same things you just said about Rubio, where he tried to run and did a dismal job. He tried to run for president. Same thing, Kamala Harris tried to run and she couldn't get the vote of her own party. Rubio had the same aspect. He couldn't get the vote of his own party. So, I mean, they actually have something in common.
Exactly. But everyone else in his cabinet, I think Susie Wiles is, I think that's her last name, for his chief of staff. I think
The
she's
one
doing
with,
an okay job.
yeah, she just came out
That's
and
just,
said she has breast cancer now.
Oh well,
Yeah, she's dealing with breast cancer now. I heard that on
I'm
this.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that was
She
on.
probably got it fooling around with Trump. Everything,
How do you get
Trump
breast
touches,
cancer?
GISs.
You know, how do you
Get away
get
from
breast?
him. That
You trying to tell me
cancer will
Trump
go
gave her
away.
breast cancer?
Yeah, smelling all his dirty diaper
Oh
and
my
everything else,
God. Well, let's
But
hope that's
otherwise,
wrong.
everyone else in his cabinet, there's nothing but a bunch of yes men and troglodytes. That's all they are.
Yes, meaning what?
Troglodytes.
What is that?
You know what a troglodyte is, Tim?
A black lesbian? Did you say a chocolate dyke?
No, I said troglodyte.
Oh, I don't know what that is. I'm like, is this a black lesbian? I've never heard of a chocolate dyke. That's what I thought you said. Okay.
No, troglodyte. Trog. TROG.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay, troglodyte. Okay, you got it.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm gonna let you go, Tim. I just had to put in my 2 cents. I think MAGA Reacts need to open a book. The guy was just out there in left field, Tim. This isn't going well for the U.S. In 2 weeks, the gas where I live, I stay in the high desert in California, right? Mm-hmm. And it was about $3.18. Right now, it is $5.27. The gas station that I normally go to.
But you guys got some unique issues in California with your fuel prices that ain't got nothing to do.
Be that as it may, even under, as they say, Biden, it never got that high. It just never got to 527.
Well, you got to get you one of those I did that Trump stickers and stick it on the pump. That's what people are doing now. They used to do it under Biden, but now it's Trump's fault the gas is up. Stick one of those on the gas pump.
We're in trouble, Tim. Just save your pennies. I'm getting ready to buy about 300 pounds worth of different type of beans because it's going to get nasty. I'm not trying to fearmonger because we see where the job numbers are going. Tim, let's put it like this. I made 6 figures last year, well north of 150. And the cost of living, it just even hit me for a big bite in my butt.
Could you make that same wage living in Arizona?
For doing what I do, yeah, because my job, I travel to different sites all over.
I'm asking it because the cost of living, you live in one of the highest cost states. If you make that same wage in Arizona.
The desert is really cheap. You can get a nice home here for about $300,000. Because
what, you like Hesperia somewhere?
Huh?
What do you like, Hesperia, Riverside somewhere? Where
I'm right up the hill from you. You've heard of I'm up here at where Yucca Valley is, Joshua Tree. Yeah, I'm up here in this area. Okay. So it's I like it. I love the desert. Mm. I even though in the summertime it's I usually after about 7 a.m, I don't go back out until 5 the next morning when I go to the gym, try to take care of all my business, grocery shop, because when it gets too hot, you're miserable.
Well, you can come on here. I got to move it on, but it's only 18 degrees with snow here. You can come here anytime in the Midwest.
No, I'll pass.
All right.
It's about 80-something right now. But, hey, Tim, you have a good night, brother. Thank you for bringing me up.
Anytime. Come on back. Don't be a stranger. By the way, tap the screen. Get the lights on up to, I can't even see it enough to tell you. I think it's 30,000. We pretty low. Get us up to 40,000. You guys can do that. Let your thumbs not be lazy. By the way, we don't block, ban, or censor anybody on this program. So whether you're MAGA, whether you're liberal or independent, you can speak your mind here without any concern of being censored. We are MAGA friendly, always have been MAGA friendly, always will remain MAGA friendly. Obviously, liberals are welcome on the program as well. Our comments go left of Bernie Sanders to up having dinner with Q. So if you favor uncensored dialogue, feel free to follow us if you're watching us on Substack, TikTok, or Instagram Live right now. Appreciate that, Buckeye 404. Thank you. If you're watching us on Instagram, Substack, or TikTok right now, follow the program. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube, give your boy a sub. And for my YouTube users, I need you to smash that like button. I really need that. Helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. So tap that like button. From the high desert west of the Rockies, you're on the air. What is that, a radio opening? So going back to the comment section, yep, it's cold. Minnesota got hit with a lot of snow, 612. That's the area code there. He says, yep, it's cold in Minnesota too. It ain't just cold. You guys got, last I heard this time yesterday, they were talking about Minnesota might get between 15 and 20 inches of snow. It's more inches than a Mandingo warrior. Damn. That's a lot. That's a lot of snow. Even for a seasoned, wintry place like Minnesota, that's a lot. I-80 was shut down all across the state of Iowa. So we got this area got hit. Chicago, Milwaukee, the Midwest got hit with a lot of snow. So 87 degrees in the high desert is absolutely fantastic right now. Real quick, you guys see me with before I go to the next caller. And I see Elvis says, please don't whine about that shit, bro. 18 inches of snow. You guys seen that the clip up from the Save America Act. We haven't talked about that as much, but I do want to get into that for one. Here's something I want to ask you folks. Now, obviously, Trump is implementing the Save America Act to protect the integrity of our elections, suggesting that non-American citizens are voting in our elections. Is that happening? I don't know. You can talk about it, but I do want to ask you from this standpoint. We allegedly had open borders under President Biden, if you listen to the Trump administration and many of my beloved MAGA. Open borders under Biden. The suggestion was 18 million came in this country, not to mention all the illegals that were here before Biden. Here's what I don't get, because we do have a rampant problem in this country with fake IDs. A lot of folks use fake IDs to buy alcohol, to buy cigarettes. People use fake driver's licenses to buy cars. You hear people getting caught with fake IDs trying to get in clubs. People get caught in America with fake IDs all the damn time. So there's a lot of people with fake IDs. People use fake social security numbers for employment purposes. Fake IDs is a rampant issue in America. But here's what I don't understand. Why you never hear about anyone at a polling place being caught using a fake ID? Fact is, there are police and sheriffs stationed at many polling places. You do hear fake IDs going into bars, clubs, trying to buy alcohol, trying to drive a car with a fake license, using a fake social security number, trying to work on. You hear people getting caught with fake IDs doing that shit all the time. Why don't you ever hear about somebody getting caught using a fake ID to vote? 18 million. There should be a few of them getting caught. Where are all of the folks doing this? Is that not a legitimate question to ask? 18 million came in under Biden alone. You should have easily a few hundred folks that have been caught. As I stated, people are getting caught at gas stations, bars, and clubs all the time using fake IDs. Getting caught behind the wheel of a car using fake IDs. The police and sheriff are often stationed at polling places. Why is nobody getting caught using a fake ID? Somebody make that make sense to me, considering that there are millions of illegals in this country. Why nobody's getting caught doing that? I am just literally baffled as to how can so many millions of folks come in this country, get caught using fake social security numbers trying to get a job, get caught using fake IDs for other various reasons, but nobody's getting caught with a fake ID trying to vote. Why is that? Make that make sense, because we're talking about the Save America Act. But anyway, looking in the comments, because poll workers don't have a pick to check the ID against. Neither does the guy at the gas station. Neither does the guy at the bar that catches fake IDs. They don't have a pick to check it against either, and yet they're catching folks using fake IDs all the time. You got folks who are just bouncing on the weekends, catching folks using fake IDs. Nobody at any polling places catching them? How does that work? Make that make sense. Anyway, going back to the box, because I'm clueless. That doesn't make any sense to me. because it's propaganda and it isn't real food. Sounds like something Mr. T would say. Because Republican poll workers worry about catching their own. All right, we'll go straight to the box with Sexy Red. Gangsta Grandma, how you doing?
I can't stand your ugly, bald-headed, wannabe looking ass. Get off your knees, man. And I'm so sick of you caping for the white team, man, and saying Miss Harris was not a good candidate. I'm sorry that the black woman could be educated and could talk more than a fifth grader. Half the population can't even read fifth grade. And you want her to what?
She had a. I'm going to say this for the umpteenth time. Kamala Harris had a good resume, but she was a bad candidate. This woman was a bad candidate.
She wasn't.
Bad candidate.
Because you like fucking snow roaches.
They got nothing to do with this.
You like snow roaches. Anything with that's white and has a fucking legs, you a F. How about that? Let's keep it a buck. If a black woman is intelligent, that could speak, more educated than the idiot that's in office, they couldn't understand her. She had to get on a fifth grade level.
I would hit this.
She really had to get on a fifth grade level.
I would hit this.
She would give you the time of day.
Well, she probably, but she liked Willie Brown. I look better than his old ass. So you never know. You never know.
You know what though? You know what the hate is? You know what the hate is? They over here telling the only AI picture I have is this one right here, right? I had to literally take my ass, get up from my bed, take pictures of my shit to say I'm not AI, because you know why? Because I looks good. I'm a baddie bitch at 45.
You didn't have to do any of that shit. Just turn your damn camera on and you would have.
I didn't need to do a goddamn thing.
Well, you didn't need to get out of bed.
I'm black, and I want to die black. That's what I is. I don't have to prove shit to these white people.
Then why did you get out of bed and do all of that?
For your ugly ass. Because you say, can you just turn on your camera? I said, look, I want to do something better. You fucking ain't you mama bitch. I want you to take the pictures. I even sent it to your ugly ass.
Why you got
one fucking damn response with your bald-headed ass.
Should I grow hair? Is that what you telling me?
You do. You gotta do something because, honey, you forgot you black with your cockroach-looking ass.
What the?
You always bow down to the damn white team, man.
What the hell? Wait. In what way at all have I bowed down to the white team? What the hell are you talking about?
Over here telling that Miss Harris wasn't a good candidate when she had so much against her, you numb nut. Had so much against her. She had the white team man say, oh, she wasn't black enough. It was some of our own damn people. Oh, she wasn't black enough.
And?
You know what I mean? Or they said, oh, she's G-side. Oh, Palestine. Now look, bitches.
Wait.
Now look what the fuck we
What you're gonna tell me that she has so much against? People were saying Trump was Hitler. He had so much against him.
Okay, Ted. This place is so fucking racist. There's an educated black woman, that we wouldn't be in this damn situation. We would not be here. But you know, the ratty raccoons and the house ninjas and the white team man thinking that, oh, she's Indian and she's not black and what the fuck? And we had to fight all this. Then we had you, Uncle Ruckus, over here saying, well, you know what? She's not good enough. She makes you look like a fool. Because you know what? She was more into this than any other president. Because she did every fucking branch of the law.
She did
every fucking branch.
She did not know how to talk to the people like Trump does.
She didn't know how to talk. It's the numbnuts that couldn't understand educated people.
No.
You really have to get on fifth grade level because half the motherfuckers are what? Incel interbred. They don't even know who their mama is or their cousins because they don't even know who they be fucking. Let's keep it a buck. The brains are so out of it. And it's called racism. They could not understand an educated woman. And when she told, and you know what? I hope she does run again because she could say,
are you crazy?
Fucking thing that black woman said was going to happen is fucking happening.
You want Kamala Harris to seek the office again? Are you crazy?
I wish you would.
You
and your shit on the white team, man.
If you suggest Kamala Harris run again, we might as well just all go out and buy Marco Rubio
shut up.
shirts.
Get off your fucking knees.
You crazy.
I know you like the snow roaches that bad, but nigga, get up.
Why don't you just give the presidency to another Republican? Kamala Harris needs to sit down. She had her chance.
Sit your black ass down. How about that? You need to get off the white man's cock and it's dripping out your mouth.
What does it got to do with cock?
Because see, the way I talk to you, you get all defensive, but you let a white team man call you ignorant and stuff, and you don't say a goddamn thing about it.
Because I'm not trying to host this. Because it ain't about race.
No. Yes, it is. Let me tell you something. If you really think, Tim, that they think that you their brother, they'll put you in a fucking tree. That is about race. All this shit that's happening right now is about race.
Do you think every single?
What are you talking about?
Do you think wait, hold on. Do you think every single damn MAGA supporter is looking at it from a racial aspect?
It is. Yep. You walk like a fucking duck. You talk like a fucking duck. You quack like a fucking duck. You a duck. Duck.
Here's a comment. I want you to listen to this. This is coming from We the Rebel. Says Kamala could not operate under pressure. That's why she folded. Rubio 2028. Do you hear that?
Let me tell you something. She was one of the best vice presidents ever. Do you know why she's one of the best? Yeah, because checking your phone. I swear to God.
How the hell was she one of the best at what?
Knock you in your fucking head.
Best how?
She was the best. Do you know she did more than any other vice president? She signed bills and she got bills passed. Any other vice president did. Go look the shit up. You're so capable for the white team, man. Go look it up. Her record speaks volumes.
How was her? With her being the alleged border czar, how was her record on the border?
Oh my God! That was a made up thing. But you know what she did get though? You know what Biden and her got though?
Kicked out of office. They got kicked out of office. That's what they got.
Mexico gave money to help with the border. Get your white cock out your mouth. Over here looking like you know shit. You're fucking dumb as hell. You have a platform.
I'm just telling you.
You're dumb as hell, Tim, and you got a fucking platform. You don't even know what the fuck you're even talking about, duck. You feel what I'm saying? You don't even know what you're talking about. You say that she didn't do nothing? And she was one of the best. And then you're saying that she was a border czar, whatever that shit they call her. She wasn't. She went to the countries and got money and helped them. She raised money on her own to help them so they wouldn't come here.
She was not.
Okay? So go get educated before you have a platform.
She was not securing the nation. Her and Biden together was doing a piss poor job protecting the border.
Was more secure under her and him than it is now. All the numbers don't lie. Numbers don't. I gotta be nice.
Nobody believes. Wait. You're trying to convince people that under Biden and Harris, the border was more secure than it is now. That sounds ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Don't lie. Go look it up. The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie.
Where the hell are you getting?
You know what she did? She went out to other countries and got money for them. Biden got Mexico to pay for some of the border. So be quiet. Go get educated.
Well, I would have to see where you're getting numbers from to indicate less people were coming here under Biden and getting in the country than under Trump. That makes no sense to me.
His numbers are higher. Under Biden than they are under Trump. You know what that means? The border is less secure right now. They're walking through like Melania Trump's legs is wide open. Her walls, you can't feel them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you really want it?
First of
you
all,
really want to know?
Why you want to talk about Melania Trump's innards? I think you're totally wrong. Trump ain't hitting that. Her walls are probably tight as hell. Ain't nobody hitting that.
Oh God! You know what? I couldn't even imagine two white tees. Like, ugh, God! It's like spoiled mayonnaise at what? God!
You just got an issue with white people. I've seen Melania Trump. I've seen the spread of her nude. She does not look bad at all.
I do not have an issue with normal white tea people. That is our ally. See, you got she's twisted, honey bunny. But you know what, though? That's okay.
How about this in the comments? Anita Searles says Trump is not hitting it, but somebody is. You think somebody hitting Melania Trump? Really? Somebody hitting that?
Hey, that ain't.
No.
I wouldn't. But
Why do you keep saying? Oh,
wouldn't.
you make it sound like she's unattractive.
Honey, her coochie looked bad, tore up from the floor up. When I say I love me some coochie, I'm bisexual, and I say hell to the. I couldn't do it for the team. I couldn't do it for the team, and I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. Nope, no way, no how, no.
Well, I've
Drink
seen
chocolate.
when she became first lady.
But difference between me and you'll fuck anything. I don't. I got class.
Oh, is that how this works?
Roaches. I like chocolate. I like chocolate protein. You like the uncooked that gives you the JJ diseases. Okay, totally different.
Well, like I said, when she first became first lady, you could see her online unclothed, and she was not bad looking at all.
Speak English, man. Did you see her at Christmas trying to read a book to a kid? And she like, what the hell?
Well,
yeah, she's always saying English. She's a national lady. You can't even speak it.
So what are you suggesting? You got to speak English to be beautiful?
I speak, but I'm bilingual.
What does that got to do with this, though? Melania Trump looks fine. One of the best looking first ladies. She's one of the best looking first ladies we've ever had.
A lot of surgery, honey. Like my ass is natural, my titties are natural. Pork chops and collard greens made my ass and shit. You know, cornbread and stuff. She had to go and pay money for her shit. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, she is one of the best looking first ladies we've had. So there's nothing wrong with her.
No, she's really not. No, well, you fuck anything, like I said. Like you'll fuck a hole in the wall if you could, Kim. I mean, I'm being real.
What is that? Why do you keep saying
You're that thirsty and desperate. If you think you think that is cute, then honey, your taste buds is off the damn chain.
What did you think of Michelle Obama's looks?
Michelle was beautiful. She was classy. She spoke I'm so fucking high. You know, she spoke good. I'm high as hell.
We believe that. So you see Michelle Obama is beautiful and Melania Trump is unattractive.
Yeah, Michelle was classy though. She was very classy. She spoke elegant. She didn't put herself above everybody. She didn't think she was a shit. And she talked better. See, that's what you mofo black men.
They took Gangsta Grandma down, as always it happens, but she's welcome on the program. I can't control the TikTok censors. Unfortunately, Gangsta Grandma got dropped. That does happen. So we'll move on with the show. We don't block, ban, or censor anybody. So you're going to hear folks that are going to be critical, that are going to be anything but complimentary. So when I say we're uncensored, we mean it. We do mean that. So if you favor free speech, you're in the right place. I'm going to ask for my YouTube viewers, smash that like button if you enjoy uncensored dialogue. Certainly subscribe to the program. And if you happen to be watching us live currently on Instagram, Substack, or TikTok, feel free to follow. So look it in the comments. Stop making excuses. What do you mean by that? Let me go back to the box. Somebody reported me and it's going to hurt you, Tim. How? I don't know. Who reported you this time? Chilling, you are on crack. Or you guys are talking amongst each other. She's funny, but dumb as a rock, says World USA. Yikes. Michelle Obama was beautiful by whose standards? Natural. Oh my God. Gen X says Michelle Obama was beautiful, but by whose standards? And then he suggests National Geographic. I don't think she was that fucking ugly. God damn. National Geographic, Gen X? No, I don't think she was that bad. I think that's a comedy skit. I don't know. Sex, I didn't report you, but I certainly am not mad about it. You guys are mean to my guests. The first lady was a pole dancer. I believe that. But I don't think that makes her unattractive. I think Melania Trump is a decent looking woman. Now, I will say this. It always helps if your chick is like 30 years younger than you. I mean, let's just be clear. The age difference between Melania Trump and Trump is probably greater than any president. Well, Thomas Jefferson had a 14-year-old. So I don't know. But for the most part, the age gap between Donald and Melania Trump is probably greater than any other president we've ever had. So she should be decent looking when she's that much younger than the guy. I mean, look, I don't care if you're a 6 on the scale. If you're 20 years younger than me, I'm going to give you a couple extra points for that. But looking in the comments, she speaks 5 languages. Yeah, I heard that. I've heard that too. Melania Trump is a beautiful woman. I just think she's with the wrong guy or the raw guy. I mean, just be real. She's making a killing. She's literally set for life having been with Trump. Not that she was poor before Trump, but I'm sure she's infinitely wealthier now. I mean, they're in a long-term marriage, so she would be entitled to half of his assets if they broke up. Plus or minus a few mob bosses showing up to her house in the middle of the night, getting her to settle out of court. But she would be entitled to a lot of money. Let's just say that. She would be entitled to a lot of money. Oh yeah, MAGA people, cool. I'm just worried about how he's taking the late 1800s as if it was one of the worst times in American history. How is he taking the late 1800s? Anyway, let me go back to the box, tap the screen, help your boy out with the hat and mustache, go to TikTok cap. You know what I always ask. I haven't been soliciting that as much today, but help your boy out if you will. Support the program, and we'll continue on with Travelman. Good evening, Travelman. Welcome to the program. Save America Act. Is that necessary? Do you favor it? Now, those are two different questions. Do you favor the Save America Act versus is it necessary? It's two separate questions. Travelman, good evening.
Evening, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm assuming you're going to be a little bit kinder than my last guest. So the Save America Act, you're familiar with it?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Do you support it?
Nope.
Do you think it's necessary?
Nope.
Why don't you support it?
It's a solution looking for a problem.
Explain.
Well, the talking point is that you have a lot of illegals voting in the federal elections.
True. That's what he says.
That's a bunch of BS. Okay. You would agree that the Heritage Foundation is the premier conservative organization in the country?
Right up there with Turning Point USA, yeah.
Turning Point USA is pretty new. Heritage has been around forever.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay, so Heritage, they checked what elections over the last 50 years or something, like 1 billion ballots. They found 100 that had inconsistencies. The KFF says the same thing. Nobody has came up with any significant fraud going on in elections. CISA said that our election in 2020 was the most secure election we had ever had. And they fired the director of CISA.
Now, you said they came up with 100. How do you respond to folks who, like Buckeye said in the comments, well, one is too many?
Nothing is perfect. Anything made by man will be evaded.
That's a good point, because even with the Save America Act, somebody's gonna if it's that many people cheating, somebody's gonna get through.
You're gonna still have it.
Right.
It's already in the Constitution. You have to be a U.S. citizen. You know what's stupid about it is you have to get a what's that ID card? Real ID.
Yeah.
Right. You got to show your birth certificate. That's one of the documents you got to have. You got to show your birth certificate. So if you show your birth certificate, doesn't that mean you're a U.S. citizen? If your birth certificate says you are a U.S., you was born in the U.S., then that means you're a U.S. citizen.
Yeah. But the problem,
you cannot use real ID to register to vote.
Yeah, and see, that's where the problem is. And I think what you're going to end up having is, because, the Trump administration views liberal sanctuary states different than red states. So they may suggest that the process to give you a real ID in California is invalidated for some reason or other. And they may say, well, we'll take real IDs from Alabama, but the ones from California, we don't trust those. So now all of a sudden they all got to go back to the drug. I mean, I'm just saying what could happen. I hope that don't happen, but it's quite possible something like that could happen.
Isn't that a nationwide standard to get your real ID?
Yeah, but if he alleges that California was bending the rules to be friendly to immigrants because the nationwide standard is that if you're undocumented, you're not supposed to be here, and some of the liberal states were favorable. So he'll just say that maybe they bent the rules because they got CDL drivers that don't have citizenship. But I'm just simply saying that they can disqualify California.
Let me ask you this. Prior to 2016, when was there an issue as far as the validity of elections? When was people complaining about our elections not being secure and there was a lot of illegal
Al Gore and Hillary Clinton also complained that they had been cheated, just not to the level of Trump, but they did complain. Al Gore with the hanging chats in Florida. And then, of course, Hillary Clinton suggesting the Russians help Trump. They complained. Trump is taking it to the Michael Jordan level of sneakers. I mean, he just took it to a whole new level.
But check this out though. When Gore and what his name when Gore and W went to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court made a decision. Gore conceded. And the country moved on. You didn't hear anything else about rigged elections and all that bullshit. You never heard anything else about it, right? That was not we got illegals voting or anything. That was on the actual documents and things of that nature, right? Yeah. So now Hillary said that Russia was taking around with the elections.
Right.
The Senate Intelligence Committee that was headed by Marco Rubio came back with that finding. They just said it didn't influence the election, but they did say Russia tried to mess around with the election. Now, am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, but yes, you're right, and I believe it's because the Clintons tried to interfere. I mean, look, we don't like Vladimir Putin. We have interfered with Russian elections. But you are right, though.
We are not going to do the whataboutism.
I'm not.
Okay. We're talking about right here with Hillary.
Okay.
And what the Senate Intelligence Committee, headed by Marco Rubio with a majority Republicans on it, did an investigation. I think it took damn near 2 years. And that's what they came back with. They came out with the report, and that's what it said. The only time that we have issues as far as election results is when this Richard Cranium came back, and because he had thought he was going to lose, he started complaining about the election was rigged.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the difference between Trump and Gore and Trump and Clinton is even though they were not happy, let's say the Al Gores and the Supreme Court and all, even though they're not happy, they accept the final decision of the courts, even if the courts did not rule their way. There is nobody that's going to tell Trump he lost. He would assume get rid of the judges as opposed to adhere to their ruling. So that's where the difference is. We normally in this country, if we have a dispute, we take it to court. If we don't like the ruling, we appeal. We take it to the appeals court. If we don't like the appeals court, we take it to the Supreme Court, and we all understand that decision is final. Trump is the first person that's ever come along and said, I don't give a damn even what they say. I'm going to still keep finding other avenues to seek what I want. We haven't had somebody that says fuck the courts until Trump has come along. So that's where he's different from everybody else.
Well, he's different because the Republican Party has totally capitulated to this dude. He has lost 99% of the court cases. Every audit that they've done with that ninja bullshit down in Arizona.
The cyber ninjas.
Cyber ninjas in Arizona. You had the other ones, I think they did a recount, and they've done numerous recounts. And every last one of them came back with the same thing. Now he got the FBI, whatever, going down taking records out of Georgia. The dude is a detriment to the voting system.
Yeah.
We haven't had issues like we're having now. And they say, well, we want the American people to have confidence in the election process. The American people had confidence in the election process till
Yeah.
that asshole came along and planted this doubt. And then after he planted the doubt, him and his other Republican minions, then they came back and say, oh, we need to reestablish confidence in the election. Well, you just spent a whole damn year talking about the election was rigged. And then on top of that, you tried to overturn it. And then on top of that, you had a group of middle-aged, crazy-ass white folks attack the Capitol building
Crazy.
based on a lie. It was based on a lie.
Well, MAGA
Everything that
MAGA
was
is
done-
still adamant. You say it's based on a lie. MAGA is still adamant. The truth about the 2020 election is going to eventually come out. So they just believe the jury's still out on that.
When?
It's been 6 years.
Put
I
it
don't
up.
know. I don't
Put it up.
know. I don't
MAGA,
know.
put it up. It's been 6 years. Put it up. You've been talking about it for 6 years. This is what MAGA does. They make crazy ass statements.
Somebody
They say you restricted for 10 minutes.
somebody don't like
Let
what you
me-
said. But just keep going. Keep going.
So they make statements, but they never come with the backup. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting off this because we're talking about something in 2020. Let's come to today.
Okay.
Let's come to the pariah that we've become. Let's go to where other countries, the president say, hey, come over and help us get these ships through. And they're like, pack sand, mango maniac. We ain't doing a damn thing. Our president is being he's being told to pack sand on the world stage.
Why do you think that is?
Well, Tim, when you attack other leaders,
Yeah.
what do you think gonna happen? Don't nobody get outside of this country. Don't nobody really give a damn about Trump. Outside of this country, he don't control anything outside of this country.
Well, I
You
don't.
know?
I mean, I listen. I agree with the first half. I disagree with the second half. I disagree with that they don't give a damn about Trump because he's attacking so many countries. You got to pay attention to this guy. He may come after you next. But I will say this: had he been like a typical American leader, I think his request to help out with Iran would have been met with a lot more favor. But you're right. I mean, you start out your presidency by saying, just really insulting the hell out of Canada and threatening to take over Greenland and tariffing the world, saying all kinds of awful shit about world leaders. Yeah, they probably are not going to come running when you claim that you need them. I mean, I don't see out of Trump 2.0 anything he's done whatsoever to give any world leader some sort of an incentive to come help him. I mean, it's been 100% negative. What he said about NATO, what he said about the United Nations, I don't see any. It's been all negative. So, yeah, they probably aren't going to want to come.
He attacked the UK. You're okay with him when you agree. The minute you don't, then he attacks you.
Yeah.
He attacked Stormer. He attacked the Prime Minister of Germany. Macron also told him, we're not coming. The Prime Minister of Germany said, we don't have enough information. That's not our war. You started it. And not only did you start it, you don't even have a damn plan. And you said it was any other president. If it was any other president, we wouldn't be sitting up in this damn mess. What are we going to get out of this? They're not going to get the centrifuges. They're not going to get the uranium because the shit is buried in a mountain. You got the regime in
Trump
place.
said he's already won.
Trump, okay, that you know what? Trump can say what he want to say. But people that got eyes and people that can read and people that follow this kind of shit can look and see that it's total bullshit. Yeah, militarily, he's accomplished what he wanted to do. Now, what else he gonna do? Is he gonna? They gonna do Tehran what they did to Syria when they demolished the town? Not the U.S. but Putin. When they went over there and they just
Yeah.
dropped all kind of shit on
I mean,
Syria.
as long as
They
we
gonna
keep
do the-
it, as long as we keep it from the air, we could do a lot of damage to Iran. But that's not going to make the leadership flee. I mean, because the way they're structured, we can kill leaders. But just like here in America, if you blew up the Capitol building and you took out Trump, Rubio, Hegseth, even took out Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, because of the way our government is structured, we know who is next. We would just replace them with the next person in line. Their government is structured like that, which is why we took out the top of their government and they instantly went to the next leader. They already have it laid out. So killing individuals.
Why did we go in there?
Because I don't think
What's the reason?
I don't think we planned it out very well, in my opinion.
So what was the reason they gave us?
They gave us 3 reasons. The first, well, one reason has been around for decades, but the reasons Trump gave us, number one, was that protesters were being killed. So he drew a line, if you keep killing protesters, we're going in. That was the first reason. The one that's been around forever is they're trying to develop a nuclear weapon. So there's a third reason that I'm drawing blanks on right
ICBMs.
now. Well, weapons of mass destruction. But there's something else he said too. I can't think of the other one, but there's a third reason he gave. But this is what they've been saying. But at the end of the day, I don't think we give a damn about Iranian citizens. So this whole they're killing protests, we don't give a shit about those people. I say this all the time. If one of them Iranians got on a raft and showed up at U.S. shores saying, I escaped this oppressive government that you're on TV talking about, can you let me stay here and claim asylum? We wouldn't even let dudes stay here. So we don't care nothing about those people like that.
If we cared about citizens, we would be concerned about the 60,000 that got unalive somewhere else. I'm not going to say the name, okay? Now, the other part is...
I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about. It was not in Iran.
The P people.
Oh, Netanyahu's friends.
Yeah. So the first one, like you say, he don't give a damn about the Iranian citizens.
No.
Matter of fact, now they're pissed off. Now they're pissed off at the U.S. Okay. Now
they don't see that. But the Trump administration is still with the whole Dick Cheney model. The Trump administration thinks they're going to see us as liberators. I think when you listen to MAGA, you listen to Fox and Trump, they still have the belief that taking out the Ayatollah is something that the people of Iran are happy about, so that they favor America.
Yeah, but then okay, you probably got a certain percentage, right? But the new Ayatollah is there, the regime is still there, the ITRC is still there, and the other one was a lie because they don't have and didn't have or wasn't even close to developing an ICBM that could reach the United States because they did not have a re-entry vehicle. Yeah. And the IEA and the experts said that they were at least 10 years away from developing a re-entry vehicle that they could put the ICBM on. So that's a bunch of bullshit. Okay. Once again, the being able to develop the NUK. Well, I thought we obliterated this shit last June.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, him giving all sorts of mixed messages. All this because now he said first he went to we obliterated it in June and said that we set them back decades. Then we go back in there 2 days after going back in there. He's talking about how he's won again already on a scale of 1 to 10. It's a 15. And then now we need some help opening up the strait. So yeah, his messaging is all over the place. This is what I've said to many folks is that I believe the Trump administration should hire someone to be a spokesperson for what's going on and convince Trump to let that person talk.
Okay, so this dude here said they were offered civilian-grade uranium and chose not to. What do you think that means? First of all, it means that, number one, no agency, the IEA, nobody has come back and said that the Iranians had a active nuclear WAP program. They said that they were trying to enrich to create a civilian nuke program for civilians. Matter of fact, the Ayatollah came up with a fatwa that said that it was against Islam for them to develop it. Now, I don't believe all that shit. That's on them. Okay? But none of the other agencies that were monitoring them said that nowhere could they find that they were actually doing that. Matter of fact, we don't even know when our administration is lying because they came back and said that the Iranians said, yeah, we got X amount of this and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then the people that were actually in the meeting came back and said that was BS, that they didn't say that.
Yeah, it would be in the best interest of the United States if more folks closer to Iran was claiming that they're as great of a threat as we are. I mean, we're a long ways away from Iran. Yet all the closest neighbors to them in the Middle East, and certainly many folks that are in Western Europe, all of our allies in Western Europe, none of them seem to fear a nuclear bomb coming from Iran. Yet America, thousands of miles away, keeps talking about this country is going to use a bomb on us. That to me should tell you something about us.
India has one. Pakistan has one. We did regime change in Iran before we ended up with the Shah, which took us into 1979. So we don't have a really good history with Iran. And this administration, they don't have a good history as far as telling the truth. They still haven't articulated what the hell we doing over there. The damn what we got now? 8 countries that Iran is going after. They had to shut down.
That's the third reason, regime change. That's the third reason we're there, is regime change. Which, and by the way, that's another one where he's been, no, we're not seeking regime change and nation building. And some days he says, yes, we want them to gone, and I gotta be involved in who we replace, which is regime change. And then the next day he said, no, we're not trying to change the regime again. So he kind of goes back and forth on that.
Okay, but how the hell are you going to tell a country that I want to be involved in selecting your leader?
It worked in Venezuela.
You see what I'm saying?
It worked in Venezuela.
But Iran is not Venezuela. Matter of fact, all the thing we did in Venezuela was took out the president. The regime is still in place. Iran has 90 million people.
Right. No, I don't disagree.
Be involved in the selection of your leader? Come on, that's bullshit. You know what that is? That is U.S. arrogance. That's what it is.
Is that what DA stands for now? U.S. arrogance. No, I don't disagree with that. But like I've said many times on the program, I think Trump got a huge ego boost by taking down Venezuela so easy, and he thought that Iran, because of our superior military might, would probably fall rather quickly. And they're doing a whole lot of things that he did not expect. I'll give you the last word. I got to move it on. But I think that's where the problem is. They're doing things he didn't expect.
Once again, things that he does, and excuse my French, he fucks up a lot of shit. Okay? He did damage to the institutions of this country. And now he's taking it worldwide because of shit that he's been able to do, because the U.S. Congress has been denutted. They're eunuchs, and they're not doing any oversight on him at all. Wow. So therefore, he feels he can do anything that he wants to do, because you got Johnson, who's a religious fanatic, and he's running around here kissing Trump's ass. And then you got at least 30 million people running around saying all kind of stupid shit because they're suffering from head up Trump's ass syndrome. So anything that he say, they twist themselves into pretzels to try to justify it. How the hell you gonna justify what the fuck we just did? We just invaded a damn sovereign country with 90 million people in it, and ain't no way in the Sam hell we gonna put boots on the ground, because if they do, you need to call over there to the body bag manufacturers and tell them to crank up production, because we'll have some troops coming home, because of the topography of that damn country is not conducive to doing, number one, an amphibious landing. And if you parachute in, they're gonna use the pew-pew. So I mean, it's a fucked up situation. How do we get out of that?
That's a good question. I'm sure we'll end up talking about that as the bags start coming home.
Somebody say I would still choose him over Hillary and Kamala. He's a freaking nutcase. He was sitting there talking about fucking electric boats and sharks and shit. Look at the shit that he says today. Oh, I can take Cuba and do whatever I want to do with it. What the fuck kind of shit is that? And then you got these motherfuckers like, Candy E. I don't know who the hell these people are. You got 2 women that was actually qualified to be president. Okay? I don't care what you say about them, whether you like them or not, is irrelevant. They had the credentials. Okay? Hillary Clinton, they've been investigating that woman since 1992. What have they found on her? Not a damn thing.
Well, she's
They
gone now.
investigated Trump. Let me
Real quick.
They
I got to move on.
Trump. Okay, they investigated Trump. They shut down his charity. They shut down his freaking fake university. He can't do business in New York. And what did they get on? What did they get on the Clinton Foundation? They didn't get jack shit. But they gonna vote for this pathological liar.
They're happy. Travelman, thank you for coming through. And I mean, listen, at the end of the day, MAGA still seems to be very, very satisfied with Trump. Most of them, not all of them. And I'll tell you this. I'm sure all of you heard of Trump derangement syndrome. You know, the notion that Trump could cure cancer and you still wouldn't give him credit, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the opposite of Trump derangement syndrome is he could actually create a cancerous disease and you would still love him. I mean, there are people that are going to hate Trump no matter what. That's the Trump derangement syndrome crowd. There are people that are going to love Trump no matter what. That's derangement as well. We just don't label it that way. But if you're going to be okay with him no matter what he does, you're just as bad as somebody that's going to be against him no matter what he does. And there's plenty of folks like that. Like what my last caller was pointing out is that Trump didn't campaign on literally taking over the fucking world. He didn't. I mean, if you go back and listen to his campaign speeches, he didn't talk about taking Greenland and Venezuela and Cuba and Iran and all these. He wasn't talking about this stuff. He's talking about being America first and getting out of overseas wars and things like that. So anyone that's all of a sudden celebrating all this stuff, that's the opposite of Trump derangement syndrome, is that he can promise you one thing and do the exact opposite and you're going to ride with him no matter what. Now, President Trump is suggesting that, what do you call it? He's suggesting that the Iranians are seeking a ceasefire. I want you to hear something coming from the Iranians, but before I do, I played this clip. This is Trump not long ago.
Well, you know, when she first got in and was named speaker, I met her, and I'm very impressed by her. I think she's a very impressive person. I like her a lot.
Now, who is he talking about? He's talking about Nancy Pelosi. He's talking about Nancy Pelosi, somebody he literally...
Nancy Pelosi, the speaker?
Well, you know, when she first got in and was named speaker, I met her, and I'm very impressed by her. I think she's a very impressive person. I like her a lot. But I was surprised that she didn't do more in terms of Bush and going after Bush. It just seemed like she was going to really look to impeach Bush and get him out of office, which personally I think would have been a wonderful thing.
Impeaching him?
Absolutely, for the war. For the war.
Because of the conduct of the war.
Well, he lied. He got us into the war with lies. And, I mean, look at the trouble Bill Clinton got into with something that was totally unimportant. And they tried to impeach him, which was nonsense. And yet Bush got us into this horrible war with lies, by lying, by saying they had weapons of mass destruction, by saying all sorts of things that took...
What are the chances that's going to come back and be played and maybe even come back to bite him? Because we are in a war now, and if he told lies, then he would fit the same category he's talking about in regards to Bush. The jury's still out on whether he told any lies or not. But if he did tell lies, what's the difference between him and George Bush? Now, what I also wanted to play before I take the next calls and tap the screen, get us on up to 80,000. Let your thumbs not be lazy. And help your boy out with the hat and mustache, TikTok cap goal, if you will. Support the program. I want you to hear also, because President Trump is claiming that Iran is seeking a ceasefire. However, they're not willing to surrender on the conditions that satisfies the United States. So they're begging us to stop, but Trump is indicating that he's not going to stop because they're not willing to come to the table with an unconditional surrender. I want you to hear the Iranian foreign minister.
از کشورهای دیگه میخوان بیان کمک بکنن بهشون.
They, Americans, are asking other countries to come and help them so that the Strait of Hormuz remains open, which, of course, from our perspective, it is open. It is only closed to our enemies, to those who carried out unjust aggression against our country and to their allies. we have not sent any message to the U.S. We are not asking for a ceasefire. But this war must come to an end in a way that it will not be repeated again.
So when you hear Trump suggest that they're asking for a ceasefire, they're on the world stage making it clear we're not asking for a ceasefire. So they're correcting President Trump. So once again, it's possible Trump may be lying to you about this. Now, my humble opinion is Trump wants to paint a rosy picture. That's why he's showing you constantly boats and things being blown up in Iran, and scale of 1 to 10, it's a 15 and all this other stuff, because he's used to painting a picture of everything doing very, very well. But everybody knows Trump is known to exaggerate. So just understand some of the things he's saying about the war may be an exaggeration. Now, I want to show you this. You hear it going off. I couldn't stop my computer. This was put on Trump's White House site. To quote Hillary Clinton, I think it's deplorable. I don't know if you're going to be to see it very well on my screen, but this is war propaganda, and it literally has the White House label on it. I want you to just, this is as much as I can blow it up, but I want you to see what the Trump administration put on the White House government's website. So they're playing Fireman by Lil Wayne and Birdman, you hear in the background, and they're showing shit blow up. And they got President Trump coming out, what looks like he's coming out of Air Force One looking proud, and it says, shh, the fireman's coming. And then you see all these things blowing up. They're literally, they're making fun of people dying. I mean, whether or not you want Iran to lose the war, you want to support America, but everything they're showing you features people dying. So they are mocking murders. They're mocking people being killed. Why put this on a White House site? I don't know, because I titled it, "Nobody Enjoys Killing More Than Him." I mean, are you happy that you're killing people? I mean, I get that you may have to take a life sometimes in the name of global good or self-defense, but it shouldn't make you derive pleasure from it. I mean, look, let's say, for instance, you go out and rob a bank or something and the cops have to take you out. Would it be okay for them to put a video of them dancing around? I mean, you shouldn't enjoy it. And the point I'm making is when he's posting videos like this, it appears that he enjoys taking a life. Now, remember when folks did a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad and the Muslim community went crazy? I think there was a terrorist attack in France behind it. This is the kind of shit that could lead to further radicalization, for lack of a better term. If President Trump wants us to believe by taking out the Ayatollah, we are gaining the love and adoration of the Iranian citizens, that is going the other way. When you start, making videos, being gleeful about killing people, because you got to assume some of the folks that are in those vehicles that are being blown up and stuff like that, these are regular citizens that are serving for the military. They're not the Ayatollah. No different than regardless of how you feel about Bush, Obama, Biden, or whatever, folks that are serving in the military are just people that signed up to protect the nation. They don't have anything to do with the administrative policies of who's governing the country. I'm certain there are people in the U.S. military right now that don't favor what Trump is doing, but it's their job as a military person to follow orders. So you're blowing up low-level Iranians, and you're making, mock videos, to a hip-hop beat about it. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how much favor he's gained with the Iranian citizens taking out the Ayatollah, but that's got to set some of that back. I can't imagine anybody in Iran celebrating videos like that. To me, that would certainly put you at odds. Not to mention the whole blowing up of a school, killing 100 and some schoolgirls. I don't think that helped out either. So I really believe that anybody that thinks that the Iranian people are celebrating what we're doing over there, you're probably misguided. I'm sure there's a lot of Iranians that do not like what we're doing and did not like the Ayatollah. Yeah, we don't like the Ayatollah, but you guys ain't who should come. I'll give you an example. There's a hell of a lot of Democrats that don't like Trump. Some folks put him right down there with Satan. A lot of Democrats that don't like Trump. Let's say, for instance, Vladimir Putin was doing to America what we're doing to Iran. Because there's a lot of people in this country protesting Trump. A whole lot of, the No Kings Day protest, the Abolish ICE protest. So a whole lot of people protesting Trump in this country, just like people were protesting the Ayatollah in Iran. So just like Trump went and took out the Ayatollah and wants to put in a dictator of Iran that he has some say-so in. The people didn't like the Ayatollah. He kills the Ayatollah. He wants to put in a dictator or put in a leader that he has some say-so. There's a lot of people in this country that doesn't like Trump. Let's say Putin comes in the country and takes out our president and says, I want to put in a leader that I get to agree with me. So Putin wants to put in, we wouldn't like that. Even though the Democrats don't like Trump, they wouldn't view Putin as a liberator. So I don't know why the Trump administration thinks that the Iranian people are going to be so happy about this. You can dislike the Ayatollah and the Americans simultaneously. You can dislike them both. You took out my enemy, but you're not a friend of mine either. It could be one of those deals. So I don't know why they seem to think that. I see the comments. Just Amy says, bring on Putin. That's like you want Putin to take out Trump. But I'm just simply saying, as much as the Democrats don't like Trump, they're not going to be happy if Putin takes him out and then puts in a Putin-friendly dictator. The Democrats are not going to like that either. So it would be a matter of, thank you for taking out Trump, but we don't want your guy either. That's where I think the Iranians are. So for folks who think that all of a sudden they're going to be loving what Trump is doing, I wouldn't count on that. Certainly with all the casualties, the innocent casualties that are now happening. But anyway, looking in the comments real quick before we go to the next caller, get us on up to 85,000. You just admitted yourself to people who are protesting the Ayatollah. Yeah, there are people in the country that don't like I don't think there's a leader on earth that doesn't have some people in this country that don't like him. And the more free the country is, the more folks are going to protest and speak out. I mean, you name it, UK, Australia, I'm sure that people are in those countries that don't like the leadership. And the more controversial the leader is, the bigger the outcry is going to be. Yeah, so there's people that don't like the Ayatollah. We're friends with the Saudis. You think everybody likes the leaders in Saudi Arabia where they can kill a woman for simply committing an act of infidelity? You can't be gay at all in Saudi Arabia. We're friends with them. So I don't understand why Iran is getting such attention for mistreating their citizens. Going back to the box, we'll go to Duke Vader. Good evening, Duke. Exactly, the more free, the more they're going. Yeah, the more that free they are, the more they're going to protest. Duke Vader, if it brings him up, I don't think it's doing that. We'll move on. I guess they couldn't find a good Kid Rock song. Yeah, they put I wouldn't surprise me if Lil Wayne came forward and demanded that they cease and desist, because they've done that with a few artists and they've told them, take my. I mean, you're putting my track. Now, Lil Wayne he has some gangster rap tunes out. He's talked about shooting people, but damn, I didn't mean for you to make my track to a video of you actually killing people. We talk about committing those type of crimes in the hip hop field. You actually are doing it. So I don't know if Lil Wayne wants that. It wouldn't surprise me if they came forward and put in a cease and desist for President Trump. But that's on the White House site, by the way. That is on the White House site. I don't know what happened with my last guest I tried to bring up, but we'll go back to the box. And yeah, Duke came up and went. So we'll try with Michael Thomas. No, Lil Wayne is MAGA. Lil Wayne ain't MAGA. Lil Wayne needed a pardon. Hang on a second there, Mike. Lil Wayne needed a pardon just like Nicki Minaj and some of them. Nicki Minaj might be closer to being MAGA than Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne ain't done shit with Trump since that happened. You ain't seen them two together at all. And I think Nicki Minaj is trying to get something out of the Trump administration. You probably won't see her around Trump once she successfully gets it either. I mean, some of them folks are in it only for some type of reward. Remember during Trump's first term, Steve Harvey was around them for a short time. Rapper Ice Cube was around them for a short time. They don't fuck with him no more. They was in it for something. Started noticing their base, their customers, their supporters and fans were dwindling. They got the fuck away from them. I've said it Snoop is another. I've said it many times that if you're a person of color and your primary fan base, customer base, people that fuck with you, buy your product, if the people that support you are also people of color, you're going to lose them if you start messing with Trump. I don't know anybody that happens to be a person of color that is really affiliated with Trump and maintained their support, fans, customer base, you name it. Mike Tyson is about the only person I've seen that has consistently still been friendly with Trump and his fan base is still there. All the rest of them quickly realize either you ride out with Trump and lose your fan base or you get away from Trump and keep your fan base. Kanye West is pretty much gone because he started affiliating with Trump. Pretty much a number one, A-level hip-hop artist. Gone. Gone from the fashion industry. Pretty much destroyed his career entirely. You don't hear nothing from Kanye West anymore. If your primary customer base is people of color, you can't affiliate with Trump. You can say it's right, you can say it's wrong, we can talk about it, but I'm just simply saying that is the way it is. You start fucking with Trump, you're going to lose all your supporters. Anyway, looking in the comments, Tim, that's because Ye went crazy, though. I don't think he had to go crazy. He went, he's starting to wear swastikas and hanging around Nick Fuentes and shit, but he was already gone before that. He was already hanging around Alex Jones talking about, the positives of Hitler and shit like that. He was gone before that, though. Just hanging around Trump is really all you need. You don't need much more than that. I know Nelly and Snoop performed at one of his inaugural balls or whatever, but they performed and got the fuck out of there. And I think Snoop was trying to get a pardon for somebody he knows as well. They're just in it to get what they got to get and bounce because, if you can't be going and hanging around him and maintaining your customer base. It is what it is. Kanye West is diagnosed with bipolar and he does not take his medication. His mom kept him together, and when she passed, he just lost it. I don't disagree that Kanye may be bipolar, but you don't turn into fucking Hitler because you can't get Zoloft. It's a little bit more to it than that. There's a little bit more to it than that. You don't start going that far off the deep. There's a whole lot of mentally ill people in this country that can't get their medication. They don't turn into the Third Reich. That's a bit strong. It's a little bit more than that. Anyway, let me go back to the box. We'll make it happen with Camaro 68. What does it say? Ye told the truth and they killed. Hitler is great. You think that's the truth, huh? Same thing Nick Fuentes says. Camaro, good evening. Camaro, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was a little distracted there for a second. What's up, man?
Not much at all. Something brought you up. What am I getting wrong?
You're not getting a whole lot wrong. I just haven't talked to you for a while, so I figured I'd jump in and see what's up. I will complain.
Go ahead.
You're not reading my super chats on YouTube, so I've spent like $25 sending you messages.
That ain't happened today.
Yes, it did.
Bullshit! I've read every super chat. I only got 4 of them. You ain't did that today. I can guarantee you that ain't happened today.
You better look closer.
I'm looking closer. Then Cal said Lil Wayne got a Trump pardon. That was the last one. You ain't did that today.
Yeah, I did. We the Rabble is my YouTube handle.
Because the super chats turned my screen a different color. I ain't seen them.
Whatever. So I got on this shitty platform that is TikTok. Let the chai coms hear me and.
All right. What did I miss? What did you say though?
Something about Kamala. I don't remember what I said.
I read that comment.
That's what it was. Kamala Harris is a bad candidate because she froze under pressure. That's what.
And I read that. I actually read that out. You just didn't hear me. I did talk about that. Yeah, I read that comment.
Oh, my bad. I guess I missed that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think Kamala Harris froze under pressure, though. I think she's a bad candidate because, well, first of all, Biden didn't give her enough time. That's the first thing. Because
yeah, that's good.
You can say some fucked up shit, but if you got enough time, you could correct it. Like Trump with the whole grab him by the pussy, then it turned into locker room talk. If you only got 100 days, you don't have the time to correct that. Trump had time to correct bad statements.
Grab him by the pussy was an October surprise. He didn't have 100 days to correct that. He had like 15 days to correct it.
But what I'm saying is he had time to correct it. That's what I'm saying. If you correct it, Kamala Harris, I don't know, maybe her campaign wasn't doing a good correction job for her. But
no, I think she was just a shitty candidate. Like, you could say her resume was okay, whatever. I think her resume was mediocre as a presidential candidate, qualified maybe, but not like, holy fuck, for sure her.
Who had a great resume? You give me somebody that had a resume that was awesome.
Well, you were talking about Hillary earlier. I think, yeah, that's traditionally the Secretary of State is the shoe-in to be president. Okay. It's actually not the vice president. It is the Secretary of State that's the shoe-in to be the president.
Well, okay, fair enough. I mean, but like I said, I don't think her resume was that bad, but I think she didn't go on the bro shows like the, Rogan's and all. She should have done it because Trump in the beginning had no problem going on CNN and going places where he wasn't even favored. Where she's on The View and shit like that. You're losing white males in particular. You need to go talk to white men. That's you got black women, you got black people, you got a lot of Hispanics, but you need to go talk to white people. Them the ones that are not voting for you. And she didn't go in their areas.
I fully agree. She should have went on Joe Rogan because I didn't like her. It would have been interesting. Who knows what would have happened? But in my opinion, I think she would have choked after the first half hour and just had nothing to contribute.
But that's what I mean by if you got full time, okay, you go in there and you have a fucked up interview with Joe Rogan, schedule one in a couple months or whatever. You don't been prepared. Your people don't seasoned you, so when you come in there the second time, you don't sound as bad. I mean, you need time to do that.
Yeah, no, she should have. I would imagine Rogan. Rogan said that he offered her a interview slot.
Yeah, because Rogan is not happy. Rogan is not happy with Trump right now.
No, I haven't listened to his podcast for a hot minute, but that's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, he ain't happy. Shit, he ain't happy. Candace Owens ain't happy. Megyn Kelly ain't happy. Nick Fuentes ain't happy. I mean, they all over the internet. Marjorie Taylor Greene, they on the internet trashing the shit out of him.
Yeah, I think that we're going to war. The big thing is the Iran war can be painted as we're doing this on behalf of Israel. And if that's true, I say, fuck you, Israel. No.
Yeah.
We're not fighting your wars. Go fight your own fucking wars.
Yeah, not only are we likely doing it on behalf of Israel, but it goes against his signature campaign promises that he's going to be about America first. He's in more international affairs than anything. What is he really doing here? Like, everything you're doing is international. You were supposed to be here, and you're not really seeing much of that.
The best you can do painting it as he's doing MAGA first, make America great again, America first, whatever, is Iran has consistently been a pain in the ass for America. And this is the hammer that should have fell 15 years ago.
I got to disagree. When you look at because Trump had to go all the way back to them bombing the base in Lebanon and shit back in 83, the hostage scandal back in 79. They really haven't done that much damage to us other than yelling death to America. I mean, but in terms of actually killing people, I mean, they haven't done that much for us to actually go to war with them. We're going to lose far more people with that. A ground invasion, we probably lose more people the first day than we've lost.
I'll remind you of this. They consistently fuck with international shipping through their proxies. The very first thing Trump did when he got in office this time around was it Yemen? Well, I forget, was it Houthi, or I forget what their terrorist proxy is in, was it Yemen, that were bombing ships going through the Red Sea on their way to the...
I don't recall hearing a lot about that under Biden or even Trump 1.0. I didn't hear a lot about Iran being that bad that they were preventing shipping. I mean, gas prices didn't skyrocket because of what they were doing. I think that we overplayed the problems we have with Iran. I'm not saying that they're an angel, but I don't think we needed to go to war with them.
Needed to? I don't fucking know. I kind of think the claim that they're building nuclear weapons has some validity to it. Whether or not it's a holy fuck tomorrow problem, I don't know about that.
Well, Trump claims that if he hadn't struck them, not only would they have developed a nuclear bomb already, they would have used it already. Who the hell believes that?
Fuck Israel.
No, he's talking about Iran, though. He's saying if we didn't attack Iran, they would have not only had developed an atomic weapon already, they would have used it. Who the hell believes that? That they were going to develop a nuclear bomb and literally, like, within a couple of days of getting it, just go and fire the first and only bomb they got at a country that's got 5,000 of them. Who the hell believes that?
You got to test it first, but it seems like they have enough material put together that they could probably run a test and, oh yeah, by the way, we got one in a missile.
Yeah, but you're still not going to fire. You only got one or maybe a half. You're not going to take on a country that's got 5,000 of these. That's insane. Maybe you get the technology and you keep developing maybe 20 years from now or something, you do something stupid.
All right, here's the thing with Iran and nuclear weapons. Iran is not contained by mutually assured destruction, theoretically, like Russia is. Also, North Korea is not.
Why do you say that? Because North Korea ain't doing nothing suicidal, and neither is Iran.
I kind of think North Korea does do suicidal shit, just nobody's like, we're not pulling the trigger on killing 1 million South Koreans today.
They haven't struck anybody. So they
haven't struck anybody, but they do provocative testing, such as they shoot their missiles over Japan, like all the way over the nation of Japan.
I mean, Trump just told Spain the other day, after they told him, you can't use our air base to go launch an attack on Iran. He said, nobody's going to tell us no. We'll use your shit if you want. I mean, we do provocative stuff. He got on television and said that. You can't tell us no. If we want to use it, we'll use it. I mean, how provocative is that?
That's insanely provocative. I'll definitely agree with that.
And that's a NATO member nation. Not to mention threatening to take Greenland and calling the Canadian Prime Minister governor. I mean, how much provocation do you need?
I think in the sense of fucking with NATO and talking shit to them, that is backfiring. I'll actually give you this example because he has asked, not the UK, but France and Germany, other NATO countries to send their ships down to the Strait and help secure the Strait. I'll align it like this. You know, whenever you get like one cop and one criminal fighting against each other,
okay,
and that cop ends up using lethal force on that one criminal.
All right.
The main reason why that happens is because it's kind of a equal fight, and the cop's fucking going home at the end of the day. So he pulls his weapon and uses lethal force on the criminal.
Okay.
That's where having extra NATO forces in the Strait would be handy, because then you have we have overwhelming force. Just we're going to pin you to the ground, put handcuffs on you, and you're spending the night in the slammer, you know?
Yeah, but how do you look rushing to Trump's aid with the Strait of Hormuz at his request when just a couple of weeks ago you thought you may have to fight him to defend Greenland? I mean, it ain't been long ago that those same nations sent troops to Greenland to show support for Greenland against America. Now all of a sudden you want them helping you in the Strait of Hormuz?
You can just stick to the UK and say just a couple of days ago he's talking shit to the UK because the UK, we don't want you to join the war after it's been won.
Yeah. So are you sure that Iran is the only provocative nation involved in this?
Say again?
So are you sure Iran is the only provocative nation that do crazy shit that's involved in this? I mean, to me, what Trump is doing at the very least, is verbally terrorizing people.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that.
I mean,
just shooting his mouth off.
Imagine living in Cuba right now. He's all over the world stage indicating that Cuba is next. How do you react if you're living in that country after seeing what happened to Venezuela? He's already indicated we coming there next.
I don't know what the fuck's going on in Cuba. That's been going on since the Iran war started. It's a little under my radar right now, but yeah.
Is he a warmonger?
He's definitely swinging the big dick around, that's for sure.
I mean, like, now you voted for Trump, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you happy with this stuff?
60% happy with it.
So he's lost 40% of you. That's a lot. You're almost. I mean, 60% is a D. That's barely passing. That might get you out of community college.
Yeah, get you I don't know, trade school degree out of a bachelor's degree or something.
I mean, shit. Is he? I want to make sure. Is he doing better than Biden right now, in your opinion?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Biden would just sit on his hands and watch the world burn around him.
But Biden was in office for 4 years. Was the world burning at that time?
Yeah, I think he was running shit to the ground. I think inflation was exacerbated under Biden's watch. I think the border crisis was exacerbated under Biden's watch. I think Biden's inaction to do shit because I think he was lost his mind. He's, having the old man problems.
But like, now we got a sane guy in there, and we're at war with multiple countries in the span of a year. And you see that as an improvement?
He's just speed running the wars we should have had over the past 4 years,
Why should we have had a war with Venezuela?
The only thing I could point to and say why we should have had a war with Venezuela, it wasn't 4 years ago, is allegedly all the oil fields in Venezuela were tapped and all the refineries in Venezuela were paid for by U.S. companies. And then who the fuck was it? Was it Chavez came into Venezuela and just said, yeah, that shit's ours now? And literally just stole it from U.S. companies.
So a company gets ripped off in America, military goes back to settle the debt?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens.
Nah, really? Give me some other examples of that happening.
The banana republics, again, in South America.
You think that would happen if a country got ripped? We had a lot of companies in China. You think if Nike got ripped off in China, we would send the military over there?
No, you're not fucking with China. They got nukes.
Yeah, so it's more bullying than actual policy.
If you can, yeah.
Okay.
It's in America's interest. We stand to profit off of it. We're going to go fuck with China. They might send nukes our way if we go fuck with China. That's not in our interest.
Right, which actually to me, and I've been saying this on the program quite a bit lately, it's in Iran's best interest to get a nuclear weapon. If you want to stop America from constantly keeping you under its thumb and bullying you, because we will come back. That's what the Iranian foreign minister was saying, is that this war's got to end, but it can only end in a way that it won't ever happen again. As long as they don't have nukes and they have all that oil, America is going to keep swinging at them. No matter how this ends, as long as they don't have nukes, we're going to have problems with them again in the future because they got all that oil.
As long as they were Western friendly, I think that would be the end of it.
Yeah, but they shouldn't. But they shouldn't have to be. Why do you have to be friends with somebody? I mean, if you're not our friend, we fuck with you.
No, they don't have nukes. What are they going to do?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I keep saying. It's in Iran's best interest.
Hard truth. Look at Pakistan. We fucking flew helicopters into Pakistan and killed a motherfucker on their soil, Osama bin Laden, and flew him out. We didn't tell Pakistan. You know why we didn't go to war with Pakistan, even though that's where the Taliban would go recruit all their crazies from to bring them back into Afghanistan and go carry on the war? Yeah. It's like we're not fucking with Pakistan because they could do something about it. I don't know.
Once this situation comes to a conclusion, it would be in Iran's best interest, whether because they're allied with North Korea, they allied with Russia. It would be in their best interest. You tell us how much oil we got to give you. We need that technology because as long as they don't have nukes, America's going to keep fucking with them. Israel's going to keep fucking with them. This is going to keep happening long after Trump and Netanyahu is dead. We're going to keep fucking with that country until they hate.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think Israel is fucking with Iran.
Really?
Offensive. Really, yeah. So the October 7th shit, like the terrorist groups coming in and fucking with Israel, backed by Iran, paid for by Iran.
Yeah. And
that's why Iran needs to go the fuck away because they keep fucking with us.
No, because
and what the fuck's that country? I forget, but they're shooting rockets at Israel right now on behalf of Iran.
Yeah, but how many? You're talking about Lebanon or whatever, shooting them down at Israel. But how many Russians have the Ukrainians killed? Because we gave them weapons, we gave them intelligence, we gave them training. Russia's not coming to get us because of that. So what you're saying is because the Iranians are helping these groups out, that it's okay or it's understandable for Israel to go after Iran. Based on that theory, Russia should be coming after us.
Well, we got nukes.
Right. So back to my original statement. It is in Iran's best interest for their own sovereignty and safety so that they can do the same shit we do without getting bullied. They need to get nukes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you fucking stop them before they can do that.
Well, that's where North Korea and Russia needs to, use the power that they have nukes, put that shit on a ship, and take it over to Iran. That's why Russia needs to help them out because they're going to keep getting fucked with. And as long as they're getting fucked with, all the countries they do business with may pay a hefty price because we'll stop them from trading.
What material advantage has Russia given Iran other than maybe allegedly helping them with intelligence? Because Russia's been capable of just handing Iran a nuke right from day one. Like literally from day one. Russia's had nukes right from day one of the Islamic Republic in Iran.
The enemy.
And for some reason, Russia's still like, yeah, go fuck yourself. You're not getting nukes.
Well,
we could just hand you highly enriched weapons-grade uranium, already formed and machined into the correct shape, and yeah, we're not fucking giving that to you.
That may change now. Now that America has backed the Ukrainians there's a lot of Russians have died because of that war, because America backing the Ukrainians. So Russia has an incentive now to help our enemy out.
All of NATO backing the Ukrainians, but yes.
But weapons-wise, it's predominantly us. Certainly under the Biden administration. Now, Trump has backtracked on a lot of that, but under the Biden administration, we're the reason that the Ukrainians put up such a fight. Now, Trump is really weakening the Ukrainians. He don't give them as much, but they were able to kill a lot of Russians because of America's help under Biden. So, yeah, and Zelensky said that in the video I was playing the other day, that he knows for a fact that the Russians have helped the Ukrainians helped the Iranians rather with weapons and shit. And he believes that their mindset is, you helped our enemy, we can help your enemy.
I'll sum both of these up in the same thing: is you should avoid hitting when hitting is not absolutely necessary, but if you must hit hard. So I'll sum both of those up in this way: is in Iran, now that we're fucking in it, there's no choice but to fucking finish the Islamic Republic in Iran. If you don't finish the Islamic Republic in Iran, you will have blowback and it will be terrible. I don't know how terrible it'll be, but it'll be a regional problem.
I don't think what you're suggesting is avoidable. You realize how many more people in that country have been radicalized due to what we've done, whether it's taking out the Ayatollah, whether it's killing a school full of kids, making rap videos of killing. We've radicalized probably more people there are probably more people radicalized now than there were before we went in, because the whole sentiment was aimed at the Ayatollah. When we started going there and ridiculing them and killing people, that sentiment towards the Ayatollah probably weakened and is now aimed more towards us.
I do think one thing to consider with Iran is I do not know exactly how their political spread is split in Iran, but You do know Iran had like all these crazy protests. Everyone's out there complaining about economic bullshit, and we hate the Ayatollah, and they're burning mosques. So we don't like the religion that we're being forced to.
But you think we're only killing one group? I mean, like the schoolgirls. I'm sure that people from I don't know how many different religions they have in that country, but I guarantee you people from all of them are getting killed. I mean, there's a lot of innocent casualties happening in that country. So you're killing people from all of those groups.
I would like to see what the collateral damage is, and in that schoolgirl incident specifically, I think it's starting to come out that that was either an American or an Israeli missile, one and the same.
And that doesn't help to have Trump on TV talking about Iran blew up their own damn school and then trying to suggest that Iran got their hands on the Tomahawk. The whole world stage know he's lying about that.
I'll tell you this, with my time in the military, I do know that what the fuck's it called? The life insurance for military members is $400,000. Okay? So of the civilian casualties, if you want to save grace with Iran, look, we're sorry we killed your daughter. Wish it didn't fucking happen, but it happened. Here's $400,000. You know, we're doing our best to fucking make this square.
And he didn't do none of that. He blamed it on the Iranian people, which, like I said, everybody from France to Germany knows that's a lie. So
I will say day one, day two, where it's like, hold on, this school is right next to a missile launching facility, and let's just do the fucking math on who has more accurate weapons here. Iran firing a dud that just goes up and just fucking lands on a building next to it versus, a Tomahawk missing its target. But it's starting to sound like, no, that school was actually 6 months ago a legitimate target. Yeah. They turned it into a school, and we still fucking hit it.
Yeah.
So using outdated intel, we hit innocent people for no reason.
Yeah, you can only imagine how many more innocent people are dying over there. I mean, I'm sure that ain't the only innocent casualties we've taken out.
With every strike, there's got to be like 2 or 3 people standing around to get hit.
And then to make a rap video with it, come on. You got SpongeBob videos and shit doing that.
In the comments, those missiles cost $2 million a piece. At least we're getting a sizzle reel out of it.
Yeah, but you're getting radical Iranians out of it too. I mean, that type of shit. Even if you are helping out folks after taking out the Ayatollah, it's like he's taking pleasure in killing people. It's like he really enjoys doing that. He had an interview today talking about how to be the B-2, whatever the flat bomber, the stealth bomber.
It's the B-2.
Yeah, he sounds like he really enjoys killing people.
I think he likes being able to project power.
Yeah, and by murdering people.
I mean, capable of doing.
The same thing with the Venezuelan boats. I mean, he looks like a guy that enjoys killing people. He really does.
That comment of you can't outrun missiles, though.
But you don't have to show all these people getting killed. That footage ain't necessary like that. There's a reason why people don't show that shit, because it comes back to bite them. I don't think that's going to work well for him in the future, showing people getting killed over and over again on TV like that. But I got to move it on. But it does look like he enjoys killing people.
Yeah, I can see how that comes across.
And
he's definitely fumbling on his language, which he's always done.
But you think this is better than what we had, though?
Than what we had with Biden? Yeah, I think Biden would be sitting on his hands and the world would be getting worse around us. And
you think it's getting better now?
I honestly believe this war with Iran is a war that was imminent. It's coming, whether it was today, tomorrow, or 5 years, 10 years in the future. I think it was coming.
But how are things getting better? You said it's getting, with Biden it was getting worse. What metrics are making you think it's getting better now? Because this seems to be spreading to more and more countries under Trump. So where's the better part of it?
The better part is it's just stable as opposed to getting worse.
How is it stable? If France goes over there with a boat that he's requesting, or Germany or some of them, if Iran bombs one of those boats, now Iran
I was talking domestically. That things are just stable. It's not getting worse. That was my domestically.
With all the protests, the no kings and ICE going in cities, you think that's stable?
I can roll my eyes at that all day.
All right.
That is a thing where I say I don't know about Iran's actual political feeling, because one thing is you see all these crazy protests in the streets, and it's like we get fucking crazy protests in our streets all the time, and I'm sure all those people will go out and cheer their fucking asses off if Trump got assassinated.
Half of them would.
The crazy fucks in the street protesting ICE, I think every one of them would just cheer their asses off. And I don't want to be looking at Iran going like, look at all their crazy lefties in Iran that fucking hate the Ayatollah. Meanwhile, 50% plus of the country loves the guy.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I don't know.
That's a good point.
That's something I'm looking at, and it's just like, I got fucking duped by crazy lefties in Iran.
It could be. I got to move it on, but I do agree with you. There's a lot of folks in Iran that probably like the Ayatollah as well. So
yeah, I think that might,
not all
be true.
All right,
Drop
Camaro.
me, have a good one.
Thanks for coming through, man.
Yep, bye.
All right, tap the screen. Get us on up to 90. The TikTok cap and mustache thing, huh? Just no love for your boy, huh? All right. Looking in the comments here real quick. We're going to win so much you may even get tired of winning. That is a Trump quote. You're going to get tired of winning. I don't know what the winning is. I take that back. There are some areas where Trump is winning, where I do, and thank you, Mike, the boss, appreciate that. And there are a couple areas where Trump is winning. One, the border, immigration. I'm going to put all of it together because it's not just the border. He's kicking out a lot of undocumented people that's in the country as well. So in that area, even though Gangsta Grandma hammered me and tried to suggest that the border is no safer with Trump than Biden, which I vehemently disagree with. But when it comes to immigration, Trump is winning. I think that's probably another area where he's winning is, doing whatever he can to target the transgender community. MAGA loves that shit. Make life miserable for the transgender community. I think MAGA likes that. So he's winning in that area. Probably the biggest area where Trump is having the most victories, just causing liberal tears. I think that's what really, when MAGA says that Trump is doing a good job, I think that's where most of their nutrition is coming from. They're feasting off of liberal because the economy is not much better. MAGA's not getting paid higher salaries. Appreciate that, Nikolai. Thank you very much, 444. The salaries for MAGA is not increasing. The amount of available jobs for MAGA is not getting better. Their bank accounts, for the most part, are not swelling up. Not as a whole. There may be some of you folks that invest in gold or crypto that's doing better, but overall, rural America's not getting wealthier. So they're giving Trump high marks, and it's not really based on things that are really bettering their lives. Hearing the National Guard being sent to Chicago or ICE in Chicago to curtail crime sounds good, but if you're living in rural Kentucky, that does nothing for you. Yeah, you like seeing the National Guard on TV beating up a bunch of liberals or arresting crazy liberals and Trump talking about how safe it is. You're not there and you're not going there. That doesn't, him talking about it's safe to walk down the streets in DC and you could walk out for dinner and yeah, that sounds great. He got crap. That ain't happening in your neighborhood. You have no intention of going there. That ain't affecting your life. So the point I'm saying is most of Trump's accomplishments are not making life better for MAGA, yet they're giving him high marks. And I think it's mainly because they enjoy him going after folks that are perceived enemies. The immigrants that are here illegally or rapists and murderers, whatever you want to call it, making liberals cry, going after the Nancy Pelosi's and, all of the various liberals suing colleges and things like that are anti-Trump or going at the TV stations, whatever the case may be. But as I keep stating, none of that is bettering the quality of their lives. Hearing that Trump sued Harvard University or something like that, when you have no kids at Harvard, doesn't affect your life at all. You just so really what I'm getting to is this. Vote for Trump, you're going to get tired of winning. Really should be phrased as vote for me and you're going to get tired of watching me win. Because he is winning. He's winning lawsuits. He's getting all sorts of contracts. His family's making a killing. He's getting a lot of business. He is winning. He's beating his cases, et cetera, et cetera. He's winning constantly. But for the average MAGA voter, you still got two jobs. You're still struggling to make ends meet just like everybody else. Your boss didn't give you a raise. Your health care ain't got no better. You live in the same house or trailer park or wherever you live that you always lived in. You ain't benefiting from none of this. You're benefiting from watching. I was like one of those shows like the Kardashians or something where you watch them go do all kinds of lavish shit. You're watching them come out of the mall with Louis Vuitton purses, and you're watching them do that. You ain't doing it. Going back to the box, and in the comments, someone says, so how can you fly in or out of Dubai? So now you can fly. So now you can't fly. Yeah, because they're getting bombed by Iran. Let me go back to the box. We'll go straight to Mike. Good evening, Mike. Welcome to the program. And address the mass killings of protesters in Iran before the war too. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Hang on a second, Mike. First of all, I don't know if we can totally trust the information coming out of Iran. Now, it's being given us by the Trump administration. And I'm going to repeat, I don't know if we can trust the information coming to us from Trump. Because just a few days ago, he was telling us they blew up their own school. So when Trump says that 30,000 protesters got killed in Iran by their own regime, or 60,000, or his inauguration crowd was the largest ever, or he has, the body dimensions of Jason Momoa. I mean, the stuff he gives you is not always accurate. That's where that's coming from. So I'm not saying that the Ayatollah is not murdering their own citizens. What I'm saying is that information is coming from Trump, and he has a long history of giving you improper numbers. He exaggerates. There's no denying that. Mike, good evening.
What's going on, Tim?
Just hanging around like Al Sharpton at a Klan meeting. You know what I always do.
Shit.
So
the world is on fire.
According to my last caller, the world was on fire under Biden, and it's somewhat calm under Trump.
You know what? Even when you say it, you can't even.
I'm just repeating what I heard. What I heard.
Listen, I told you. So this, what day is this? Day 16, 17?
Something like that. It's more than 2 weeks. Something like that.
No, it's 18. Yeah, it's 18 days. It's 18 days. The words the text that I received was, "We are getting our asses kicked right now."
Ooh. Drones. So what are you suggesting, that the casualty numbers coming out of there is not more numbers? Are you suggesting that 13 casualties is not likely?
I don't know. I'm not going to go into that part, but I will say this, and I think it's pretty clear we're using more resources. That we underestimated this shit. I mean, I think that's pretty clear. Up to this point, if anybody wants to dispute that, then ask yourself. See, because here's the thing: Trump doesn't concede shit. So if he's barking at EU and all of them about helping, they need that shit, because he's not going to ask for anything.
Right? Yeah, because we would love to take the credit for kicking Iran's ass by himself. So you're right. If he's asking for help, obviously this is he has taken on a big endeavor. Because he wouldn't, because now once they help, they get credit too. And he's not the kind of guy that would want to share that credit.
Absolutely not. And Boss Man in the comments, Trump absolutely said no new wars. He didn't say no forever wars. Stop that bullshit. Y'all revisionist history fucking kills me, man. You guys absolutely kill me with your revisionist. You know, there's a montage out there.
I played it. I'm looking for it now. I've actually played it.
Yeah. So they can. So JG, I listen. I'm not going to get into the casualties. Because I'm not gonna put that out there. Even if I knew for sure, but I do know what's worse than what they're reporting, and I'm not the only one that would.
Well, based on what you even just said, to be honest with you, you don't even need to have any kind of
just do this with the majority, then leave.
You don't have to have any kind of inside scoop or anything. You can see what's going on until they didn't expect Iran to close the Strait of Hormuz. They didn't expect Iran to bomb neighboring nations like they've been doing. There's a few things that Iran is doing that I don't think apparently they weren't expecting the mines to be put and cause all the problems there. They were not expecting Iran to fight as much as they're doing. I think he saw Venezuela and was expecting something like that, a cakewalk.
Right. And all these Trumpsters are dancing around with their high heels on, trying to figure this thing out. Did you hear your guy? Are you going to play the video where he said?
No, go ahead. I'm looking for it. Go ahead.
Okay, because I really want you to play that so the people in the comments will shut the fuck up. Because, fact check in real time matters. But did you hear your guy on the interview say, 1 minute he said they cleared the Strait of Hormuz from all of the mines. And in the same sentence, he said, we don't know if there were any there to begin. You didn't hear that?
No, but I know. But I heard him say something similar because we talked about it the other day, where he was talking about. There's a video of him telling them, "I think people should have guts and go ahead and travel the Strait of Hormuz," indicating it might be safe. And then later that night, Iran bombed 3 of the cargo vessels going through it. So, because I said, like, you could have got people killed if they had to listen to you telling people to go ahead and go through the strait. And boom, the next day they don't blow up 3 fucking boats. Like, if people listen to you, they're going to get killed. So you're making it clear that you ain't credible. You don't know what's going on. They have more control over this strait. And then, of course, it was on his site or one of his administrator's site about a week ago that was suggesting that they hadn't closed the strait when they actually had. So they're releasing information that's not necessarily accurate.
And then he doubles down and says that we pulled the mine, we got all the mines out. We swept and got all the mines out. Then he turns around and says, we don't know if they were ever really there to begin with. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's like when it comes to it, COVID will be gone by April. Like, just releasing positive shit based on nothing that could get people killed, just like with COVID. Talking about it'll be gone by April. You just releasing positive. I get you want to release a positive story, but not at the expense of somebody's life. You can't just tell people there's no mines in this shit and you don't know for sure. You're just making that up. So somebody go through that, now they don't got blown up because they thought you could be trusted.
And his supporters will listen and try to excuse anything. He, like you said, he did this with COVID. He was making it up as he went along. People were being unalive. He was talking about disinfectant and then sunlight and just go outside and it'll go away. And how many people unalived, or how many people, you remember how many people were fighting to not wear masks because he told them it wasn't necessary? You remember how aggressive and violent some of his.
They surrounded the Michigan State House under Gretchen Whitmer. They armed MAGA. Went to the Michigan State House wearing masks and everything, surrounded it.
And they went in. They didn't just surround it. They went in the rotunda. And here's the thing. They say that, and then they'll excuse everything that happened, and then they put it on Fauci, and they never own that. And so look at what's happening. They're excusing it away as we speak in the comments. This is not about anything but taking over territories, stealing resources and oil. That's all this is about. That's all this is about. And you guys are just falling for the banana in the tailpipe time and time and time again. And it just makes no sense. Let me tell you what happened today. I'm gonna walk through this real quick.
Okay.
So I'm talking to someone on this app today. He has 2 sons in the military, Trump supporter.
All right.
Him and his wife are at odds now because they both voted for Trump, but they're afraid that their sons may get called up to go serve, to go over there, right? And so,
first thing I always ask is what branch they're in, because the foot soldiers are the ones that are going to likely get killed. If you're serving in the Navy or the Air, even though some Air Force went down in the KC-135 or whatever, but if you're serving it's the Marines and the Army the ones that take all the casualties. So if he's serving in one of them branches, that's the one you really got to worry.
Army.
Yeah.
Army.
Yep.
And my question, so he said that, now prior to that, just like most MAGA supporters, all their faith is in Trump. They believe that Trump's going to do the right thing.
True.
Now you're worried about your children getting called up. And I said, well, why worry? And the panel, they were, wanted to jump on me. That's out of bounds and that's unfair. What I said, well, And my response was this: wait a minute, you've had faith in him this entire time. Now that the possibility of your sons being impacted by the decisions that you make, now you're worried. What you should have been is worried that we were going to be here before we got here.
But
right?
that's the
Because now
whole
we're here.
Yeah, but that's the whole MO of most Trump voters is that it's okay as long as it don't happen to me, whether we're talking immigration. A lot of Trump stuff is like that. I didn't think they was going to do it to my wife or my kid. Once it happens to them, like all of this shit is okay as long as you're doing it to somebody else. You mean my kid gotta go? Then it's a different story.
And that was my point. And I told him, what are you worried about? Just continue to have your faith in Trump. Now you're worried. And so, but they said that take was out of bounds because, now you're bringing his kids into it. No. See, everybody wants to move. And this is why I say what I say, Tim. Everybody wants to move because they're not anticipating any of this hurting them. And the minute that it does, they want all the comforts in the world of those that have been telling them not to do it in the first place. And that's not how people move. That's not how we move in society.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you need to have a little bit more foresight and stop trying to work yourself and twist yourself into pretzels to make sense of this shit, because you can't. The bottom line is we have a kakistocracy running the government. They don't know what they're doing. They're all lying. They have an agenda that is not to benefit the average American. And they're showing you guys right now. By the time this is over with, when you look at the national debt, when you look at the price of gas, when you look at the price of consumer goods and where they're projecting these things to go, don't take my word for it. Everybody look it up. When they're projecting where these things are going to go, then everybody's going to say, and then they still, and you know what, I don't know if you noticed, but the Trump administration is trying to turn this into a Biden thing now.
How?
Yeah, but this is just what they're doing. Let me.
But before you say that, in regards to the national deficit, I think everybody should easily be able to understand. We're using all of the best shit we got on Iran. All of these videos you're seeing of shit. Every time you see one of them videos of something blowing up, that's 100,000 or more. In some cases, far more than that. So you can only imagine how much money is being spent on this endeavor. So yeah, that money's got to come from somewhere. So yeah, once they got to replace all of those weapons they've used, all of that shit's got to be replaced, and that's going to come at a cost to us. Unless we get something really great out of fucking with Iran, it's all for naught. What are you about to show me?
I'm about to show you this. And by the way, Republican Rich in the comments, I know you guys don't think I'm smart. So don't listen to me. Just look at this chart. How about that? How about that?
Okay.
This is a net approval rating by issue. By issue.
Source.
This source is the Economist. Economist.com.
Okay.
This is just one source. Okay. Net approval rating. You see how you asked me for a source and I just told you what it was? You see that?
And I'm asking for my audience. I know my audience wants to know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Net approval rating by issue. This is after the inauguration and this is current. Look where he was after the inauguration. Approval rating. He was above board in 4 of the 5 categories. Inflation, taxes, job economy. He was below on foreign policy.
And so the red dot is where he's falling to on all of those.
To now. Yes.
Damn. What is the first one? Because he's really falling on that one.
Inflation and prices. And then the next one's taxes and spending. And then the next one's jobs and economy, foreign policy, and immigration.
Shit, he never was favorable with foreign policy.
He was never.
Yeah, he's below the line.
But here's the problem. So I want to leave this up here for a second.
Right.
Here's the problem, because I know all you people in the comments always telling me I know what I'm talking about. You guys Google and do your research. This right here is all of these are the realities that you guys are ignoring. You want him to be here. That's where you want him.
Well, what about one of the viewers is saying your source is the Economist is a Democratic website, is what he's saying.
Well, pick another source.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Trump's poll numbers are not favorable. It's just a matter of how much unfavorable they are. Maybe you go to the Democrat side, it's worse. But the folks on the right are not saying his poll numbers are great right now either on many of those topics.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, here's the thing. Do they like Pew Research? Is that another? Is that better?
Well, let's be clear. Any site that's not favorable to Trump is going to be viewed as a left wing site. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is now left wing.
Exactly.
So
and see, this is my part. So actually, I pulled up the site and showed them what they believe in reality, and what you just said. No matter what source I bring up, it's not their reality anymore. Only time it will show that will prove to them is if it agrees with them. If you show them something that they don't like, it's fake news. They've been indoctrinated to say that. They've been told to say that, while he simultaneously spends $1 billion a day on this conflict, for this war.
And I see in the comments, MAGA says no one's arguing with his approval rate. Yeah, they are. You're not. Even you admitted yourself, MAGA, that there's things you're disappointed with. I still got folks that are saying Trump is the greatest of all time. Straight Talk Commerce, he got a picture of Trump on all 4 heads on Mount Rushmore behind him. So no, you're saying it, but there's a lot of MAGA that believe that Trump gets an A+ right now.
And here's the thing, and that's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, let's have this conversation real quick, because I know you got to go. At the end of the day, we're spending more. Our allies are saying, nope, we didn't sign up for this, right? This is not what we want to do. But you can't treat everyone like they're pieces of shit and then turn around and ask them for help.
I don't get that. I mean, listen, Trump, he's had wives, he's had relationships with business partners. Has he really done that well, treating people as badly as he's treated all the world leaders? And I mean, is that the kind of guy he's been all his life? Is somebody that just treats people like shit and gets away with it?
Yes. Yeah. Tim, listen. And I know you have to ask for the. Let's go back to when he was sitting down. Him and JD Vance were talking to Zelensky.
Oh my God! But Zelensky needed him though.
Yeah, but do you remember when Zelensky told him, "I know you. There's an ocean in between you, but eventually."
Yeah, and he told Zelensky he didn't know what he was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're in no position to negotiate. And blah 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 blah.
You don't have the cards.
How did that age now?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Zelensky did. He said, "You're going to feel it one day." He said, "We ain't going to feel nothing." Yeah, it didn't. Well, but I don't think anybody thought at that time Trump was going to be a warmonger. Look, he talked about Greenland. I didn't know the guy was just going to go on a national or a world tour attacking country after country. I didn't know he was going to flip like this.
Yeah, listen, I just believe what they say. But have you talked about these drones that were stolen? Have you talked about that?
No.
You didn't hear about the drones that were stolen?
Stolen from who?
From us in Campbell. What's it? Hold on,
When did this happen?
They got surveillance. Yeah, even yesterday or
holy shit! So there are drones on the loose already on U.S. soil.
4 advanced Army drones go missing from Fort Campbell. You didn't hear about that?
No, not yet.
Yeah, they got pictures of the people. It was in Kentucky. They got pictures photos, surveillance photos of some men walking through, very casual, with masks on their face.
Whoa!
They singing Tim. Yeah. Now listen. Yes, yeah. See, it's all in the comments. Somebody snuck.
Wow.
Now listen. This is a military operation. This is on Fort Campbell. This is on a base. And some drones come up missing.
Wow.
Now, the funny thing is, it's not in the news cycle. I wonder why.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Being unfair? Is the media being unfair now?
Well, and not to MAGA there now. Trump is already talking about going after the media because they don't like the way they're reporting the war. Listen, my take is the Trump administration, by way of Trump, they want to control the media. They want to control what we get. He claims it's because the media is not treating them fairly or whatever, but he don't give a shit about Fox. And Fox is just as unfair. They just lean right as opposed to left. So I think Trump wants to have a media in this country where they control what we see.
Yeah, and you're pretty. I'm reading right now. Apparently, what I'm reading is these were stolen back in November. Back in November,
and we're just getting this
now,
information.
And we're just getting this information. Now, the interesting part about it is, you can easily say, hey, if this story doesn't come out, those were from some sleeper cell, blah, 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 right? And false flag the entire thing. I don't listen. Every time you guys want to talk about Trump, and I told you this from the first day I met you, Tim, he's not redeemable. I told you that. Those are my exact words. This man has no honor whatsoever. You can't believe, I don't believe there's anything that he wouldn't do. I don't believe there's a single solitary thing he wouldn't do to protect his best interest. I don't.
Well, once he got on television and said, "I'm not going to heaven," I mean, like, that's because Marjorie Taylor Greene asked that. She's like, if this guy has already said he's not going to heaven, like, does he have anything to, does he have any restraints? I mean, the guy don't came out and said he ain't going to heaven. Like, damn, you don't normally hear people say nothing like that.
You don't. But he knows he's not redeemable. He knows he's not a good man. Have you ever heard him even allude to he's a good person or a good man? Or
yeah, he says he's a good guy. He says he's liberated. He's liberating the Iranians. Liberated the Venezuelans.
Right. I'm not sure when I'm going to take it. I just might. Yeah, I might take a country.
I don't like the warmongering stuff. I really don't. If somebody say if the Democrat politicians would have been worth a fuck, Trump wouldn't be here. Where's he at now?
No, that's not true either. Nobody wanted to listen. See, here's a problem. Here's a very difficult problem to get by, Tim. This is a very difficult thing to get around, and we talk about it all the time. If it takes time to explain something because it's kind of complex, most Americans don't have the stomach to do it. They just want the bumper sticker, right?
True.
Drill, baby, drill. Make America great. Blah, blah, blah. All the nicknames. They don't have the attention span, and the Democrats are trying to explain the who's, what's, and whys, and America doesn't want to hear all of that shit until they have to deal with it. Then they want to hear all of that shit.
It's interesting you would say that because I had somebody, I was talking to one of my MAGA viewers and talking about the economy.
That's right.
Under Trump hasn't really improved, and they started giving me all the reasons in the Iran war. And I said similar to what you're saying. I said Americans just want solutions. They don't want all those excuses. If the price of fuel has not come down under Trump any better than from Biden, they're not going to entertain, well, Trump has this whole reason why. You wouldn't have accepted those excuses from Biden. When groceries are expensive and eggs and all, it doesn't matter. Biden could have told you about the bird flu until he turned blue in the face. You don't want to hear the excuses. You want him to fix the problem. Make eggs cheaper, make groceries cheaper, lower the price of gas. I don't want to hear why it's high. So all of a sudden now you get your guy in there and shit is still expensive. And you expect people to now listen to the excuses from him? You wouldn't listen to him from the last guy. People just want solutions. They don't want to hear all the mumbo jumbo.
And now these motherfuckers is running right here. You're 100% right. And now what was their slogan all weekend? Their slogan all weekend was short-term pain for long-term gain. These people are absolutely fucking crazy. Oh, and by the way, Trump supporters, before you start saying the gas was because of the conflict and the consumer goods, because if you go Google, economy was shaky. There's at least 6 or 7 different news outlets and economists that were saying the economy was on its way down before this conflict started. Gas, you got to remember,
because of the tariffs and all. I got to move it on, but the tariffs and all of that has been part of that. So
yeah, so listen. At the end of the day, go read that. Economy was already down on a trajectory. They had to reforecast the last quarter where they cut the growth that was reported from 1.4% to 0.7% in half.
Well, we already know he's went out to Powell and he tried to shoot the messenger. So yeah, the numbers were not looking good in the beginning. But Mike, appreciate you coming through. Thank you.
All right, brother.
Yeah. And like I said, at the end, I'll reiterate that point. At the end of the day, the American voters want solutions. They don't want to hear excuses. This short-term pain for long-term gain, for instance. You wouldn't have entertained that from Biden, so they're not going to entertain it from Trump. You promised to lower prices on day one, not tell us to wait a little longer. If he doesn't fix the problem, he's going to get treated the same way Biden did. Not to mention, he was one of the main ones cheering against Biden and all of that stuff. So, yeah, look, folks acted like under Biden, they were barely able to hang on because prices were so high and they couldn't do anything. Trump comes along and suddenly they seem to have a lot more strength to be able to hang on. All of a sudden now you're okay with a little bit more short-term pain for long-term gain. No, you made it sound like you were dying under Biden. Things have not gotten better under Trump, but suddenly you now can hold on a little bit longer. Depends on who you ask. This is the video I think we were talking about.
Peace. I am peace. People don't believe that. I am peace.
A vote for Donald Trump is a vote for a man who wants to end wars, not start them.
We do not want war with Iran. We actually want peace. The Iranians are clearly not very good at war. Perhaps they should follow President Trump's lead and give peace a chance.
Kamala's campaigning with warmongers like Liz Cheney. How do you think that is? She picks Liz Cheney, whose father virtually destroyed the Middle East. Liz Cheney, she talks big, I want war. She always wants war. Every time I was with her in the White House, we should attack this nation, that nation, nations that people never even heard of, we should attack. She's a big tough guy. She sits back in Washington, we ought to go and attack Iran, Iraq. We're going to attack everybody. That's why I broke up with her. All she wanted to do is go to war with everybody. These war hawks, they want to draft your kids to die in wars, and they will never fight themselves. We'll stay around the country for 15 years, just bomb the hell out of everybody, make everybody miserable. Nobody knows why we're there, the wars that never end. These endless wars that we've been in, I've gotten us out of so many. We don't want to get into wars. We're tired of fighting. I'm the only president in the last 84 years that didn't start a war.
I mean, is he just lying to get elected? And I'm going to tell you why I say that. All of the problems that led to us going to war and starting these conflicts under Trump all existed when he was saying this stuff. Iran was just as much of a problem then as they say they are now. Yet he was on stage saying this stuff. Venezuela, the whole alleged taking oil from American, all of that stuff had happened. So what changed? What made him go from saying this stuff on stage to what he's doing now? Because all of the enemies were doing all of the same shit they're doing now. They were doing it then. When he made this statement here, death to America and Iran trying to get a nuclear weapon, all of that was happening. The Ayatollah was already slaughtering people. All of that was happening while he's making this statement here. So, is he lying? Because the enemies it ain't like he became president and suddenly the enemies started doing all kinds of bad shit, so he had to change his stance. They were all doing that stuff when he was making this speech. So what changed?
We will have no more wars, no more wars, no more wars. We will have prosperity and peace. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Remember, I'm the president of peace. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. He's going to start a war. I said, no. My rhetoric is going to keep us out of wars. And that's what happened. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. I believe that he will attack Iran sometime prior to the election. Because
now he's talking about Obama with this one. This is him saying that Obama was a weak negotiator and he was going to start a war with Iran to get reelected. Obviously, Obama never attacked Iran. He did.
Because he thinks that's the only way he can get elected. Isn't it pathetic?
That's really bad. That's not the one I've seen before. That one has a lot more lies in it. That's really bad. Even if you favor Trump, even if you're one of my beloved MAGA, and I love talking to MAGA. By the way, tap the screen and certainly smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube. But that looks bad. Because none of the people that we're dealing with have done anything different than they were when he was making this speech. We still needed Greenland. Greenland didn't change anything from the time he made this. So he went from not having wars to threatening Greenland. What's going on in Iran, as I just stated, they were trying to get a nuclear bomb when he made this. The Ayatollah was just as oppressive as they are now when he made this. What changed to make him go from this to wanting to go after them? Same thing with Venezuela. All of the reasons he went into Venezuela were existing when he was making this speech right here about not being in favor of war and being peaceful. Same thing with Cuba. The Castros were in control, and everything going on in Cuba was happening when he made this speech. So there's nothing else to see other than he knew what he was saying here was not true. Nothing has changed since he made this speech from any of those countries. Yet he went from talking about being very peaceful to being a warmonger. So I don't see any way to look at this other than he was just not being honest. Now, if it was a country, let's say what happened with the Ukraine and Russia, that war, let's say that war did not break out until he got reelected. Now, we know it broke out in 2021, I think it is, or 2022, but let's say it broke out after he got reelected. Then your stance on Russia would change, because when I made this speech, they hadn't invaded the Ukraine, but now that they don't invaded the Ukraine, my whole stance on Russia has changed. All the countries that we've went in under Trump, they were all doing what they were doing when he made this speech. So this he never intended to do what he's saying here. It's as simple as that. And that's why folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene are pissed. Is because you promised this. This is what people voted for you for, and you're not delivering it. Now, the true hardcore MAGA, the ones that are the exact opposite of liberals that have Trump derangement syndrome. The ones that derangement syndrome means you hate Trump no matter what. You won't give him credit for anything. The opposite is you'll give him credit even if he bombs a school full of kids. You'll give him credit for anything. Those folks are okay with him flipping because they didn't vote for the policies. They voted for the man. So whatever the man does, they're going to ride with it. But the folks in the middle, the MAGA in the middle that voted for the policies, they're pissed with this because these policies here is not what he's delivering. Anyway, look at it in the comments. Marjorie Taylor Greene has lost her mind. How? Marjorie Taylor Greene voted with Trump 98% of the time. The only thing Marjorie Taylor Greene did was pursue justice for girls that had been raped. And that alone turned her into a rhino. That kind of makes you want to ask questions about the folks calling her a rhino. That's all she did. She voted with the man on everything else. All she wanted to do was get justice for some young girls that got raped. And suddenly she became MAGA enemy. What does that say about how MAGA feels about girls that are made victims? That don't look good. What else has she did wrong? Really? What else is Marjorie Taylor Greene did wrong in the eyes of MAGA besides trying to get to the bottom of the Epstein files? She did absolutely nothing to help them. Now, she didn't do anything to help them towards the end because she quit, but she was trying. What happened with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I'm no fan of MTG, but what happened with Marjorie Taylor Greene, same thing with Nancy Pelosi and a host of other folks, is they couldn't handle the MAGA death threats. They got scared and got the hell out of Dodge. Marjorie Taylor Greene started getting doxxed and all of that other shit that you let ICE wear a mask for. Maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene should have put on a fucking mask. But she started getting doxxed. She started getting death threats. Her son was getting death threats. Same thing with Nancy Pelosi. Her husband got the shit beat out of him and she started getting too many death threats and they ran. That's all it is. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Pelosi would still be in Congress had Trump not got reelected. Both of them. Nancy Pelosi would ride it out like Feinstein until she died, or like Mitch McConnell. And of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene probably had multiple elections still coming her way. they would both still be in Congress. And there's a host of others. Liz Cheney would have stayed there forever. Adam Kinzinger wasn't going. There's a host of others. They were not going anywhere. So anyway, looking in the comments before we move on, Trump made a joke about Mr. Pelosi. Yeah, getting clubbed. Yeah, he did make fun of Mr. Pelosi's husband, damn near getting killed. He found comedy in that. But with him posting pictures of people being blown up in Iran, it's pretty clear Trump kind of enjoys his enemies getting killed. He kind of likes seeing people get killed. That's the only way I can look at it. When he has a rap video, and for some of you that hasn't seen this before I end up going on to the next caller, this video here was placed on President Trump on the White House Gov site. This is on the White House site. And you see it says the White House at the end. I mean, like, I titled it, Nobody Enjoys Killing More Than Him. I actually texted at the top there, but they posted this on the White House site. Hip hop music, missiles flying, things blowing up, literally taking pleasure in people dying. If you believe that the Iranian citizens see us as liberators, I guarantee you this is not, they don't favor this. They don't, because soldiers are soldiers. Doesn't matter what the government is doing. The military are just regular people that enlist to fight for their country. They may totally disagree what they're there for. They just fight on behalf of their country. You think they favor seeing the president of the United States making fun of their soldiers getting killed and murdered like that? So I don't think they see us as liberators after he did things like this. I do. I mean, to me, what this here can radicalize Iranians. They're not taking out the Ayatollah is something that they may favor, but they don't favor this. You can hate the Ayatollah and Trump simultaneously. You can dislike both of them. Kamala would have had Cardi B. No, Kamala, we wouldn't be at war. The Black Gen X, we would not be at war if we had Kamala Harris. Nikolai 4444. Can you imagine Obama doing that? Yeah, they would go apeshit if Obama did that after a strike in Iraq. You know how many Iranian children have died under the Ayatollah? I don't know, but making rap videos to killing grown men ain't gonna help. You can do the whataboutism role, but that doesn't excuse this. Nikolai, good evening.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. What do you think of a video like this?
I mean, I don't know. It's pretty fucking crazy, bro.
Crazy in a good way or a bad way?
I don't know yet. We've never seen this.
You can't make a decision.
The kids are like on the social media.
You're watching people get murdered to a hip hop beat, and you can't make a decision on this?
Well, I know that didn't come from the White House. That had to come from like his kids or something.
It's on the White House site.
Yeah.
Why? Let me ask you something. Why does so many crazy things come from around him and he never has anything to do with it? Is he not in control of the power? I mean, his own site, a staffer sends out a picture of the Obamas as monkeys and all that. Like, who are you hiring? You have no control of what's going on? It's always somebody else sending things.
Bro, I think he has no control of what's going on, to be honest. Are we allowed to like share clips?
How is that any better than Biden then? If Biden has dementia and he's sleepy, but we got a sane guy in there that has no control of what's going on, how is he any better?
He's not better.
Oh. Did you vote for him?
For Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you happy with him?
I did. No. Well, first of all, it's never cool to like the president. You know, that one dude, Michael, he was like pulling up like approval ratings. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure they all did. 100%, they all did. It's never cool to like the man. It's cool to say fuck the man. Always.
So why did you vote for him then?
Because I felt like he was separated from the deep state, to be honest.
You still feel that way?
No, not anymore. No, definitely not.
What changed?
Well, okay. I don't know if do you ever fuck around with Joe Rogan? You know that dude?
I watch him sometimes, yeah.
Did you ever see the Trump interview?
I might have seen some clips of it. What are you illustrating? What are you getting at?
Okay. So basically, there's this like general in Washington, and he's like, "How come we're not pulled out of Afghanistan?" He's like, "How long will it take?" And the dude's like, "It'll take 3 to 5 years, Mr. President." And he's like, "What the fuck? I gave you $1.3 trillion." He goes there in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, flies, finds a general. He's a black dude. He's fucking dope, bro. And then he's like, "How long would it take to like end this war?" And he says, 3 to 5 weeks. 3 to 5 weeks and we'd be out. He's like, "I have generals in Washington telling me 3 to 5 years." Now, what do you think that is? Why would generals on the field be like 3 weeks, but people in Washington say 3 to 5 years?
There was some kind of benefit to staying and dragging it out.
Yeah, money. The industrial military complex, bro. The deep state. They make money while people go to war. And Trump said, "What the fuck, 1.3?" And he flew over there and he stopped that shit. He stopped it like way early. Now, I don't know if there's this one interview, it like came out in like 2007. It's like Wesley Grover or whatever, but it's on YouTube. I can send you the link, bro. But this dude in 2007, way before we ever went to war with like Syria, Iraq, any of them, details every single war we've been in the Middle East, like in 2007.
So they knew ahead of time what was going to happen.
Yeah, they did. The CIA did.
You know what? You did hear what Mike was saying about Project 2025 forecasts all these countries.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah. But this dude said in 2007, like way before any of these people were elected, like which exact wars we'd be in. It was on Democracy Now. It's on YouTube. You can look it up, bro.
You voted for Trump and you watching Democracy Now. And goddamn, really?
I voted for Obama. I voted for Obama. I voted for Hillary. I voted for Biden, and then I voted for Trump. Yeah.
Wait a minute. So you only voted for Trump this last go round? Once. Yeah. You voted for him once.
Yes.
Oh, you got disgruntled with him pretty damn quick then. So you voted for him in 2024 for the first time, and you already see him as part of the deep state. What made you vote for him as opposed to Kamala Harris or supporting another re-election of Biden?
No, I really didn't like Kamala.
What was so bad about what about her?
I didn't like her.
Go ahead.
She was she's a district attorney, bro. You ever deal with those guys?
I haven't committed any crimes. No, I haven't dealt with any district attorneys.
Fuck. There's that one girl that you had on that one clip with the gray streak in her hair, fucking Tulsi Gabbard. She like roasted her so hard in the. I'm independent, and you can tell by the way I vote. But like, she was like, Kamala actually made a lot of money by putting like a lot of African Americans in jail over marijuana charges. I think that's bullshit.
I think everybody.
She's a district attorney, which means
I think every politician.
She's a lawyer for the government.
I think every politician has made money by putting African Americans in jail. That's just the way the country's been going. I mean, California with their 3 strikes laws, everybody's done that.
Yeah. Clinton with the crime law. What about Obama though? Not Obama.
Well, no, because Obama's political career came and went fast. I mean, he was only a senator for 2 years, became president for 8, and that's it. I mean, he had a pretty fast political career, but fact is, this country, certainly if you go back to the beginning of the war on drugs, just locking up black folks became the thing. I mean, so everybody that was in politics, probably from the late 80s until probably the early 2000s, probably locked up a hell of a lot of black people.
Yeah.
It was just the thing to do. I mean, and when you look at Kamala Harris, I mean, shit, she's only a district attorney and an attorney general. She can't do that by herself. She ain't passing the laws. She ain't the judge that stamps the actual sentence. She clearly wasn't locking up people alone. I mean, the state wasn't revolting. You didn't hear about a whole bunch of Republicans stepping forward and saying, you guys are being too hard on the black folks. I mean, everybody was in on that. Like Biden with the crime bill they bring up from 94. Biden was just a senator. He didn't do that by himself. Everybody was in on that shit.
Kind of. But I think you're like, I don't know. And that's the problem with like Mike too. Like I feel like he's really smart. He's really like intelligent, but I think everybody's just zoomed in at the wrong problem. I think that the presidents don't really control that much, to be honest.
Well,
I think they don't have the power that people say they do. I mean, there's like an interview with Hillary Clinton where she talks about how the first thing she wants to do is invade Iran. And if you look at this thing, I swear to God, bro, it's insane. It's this dude from 2007 outlines every single war we've been in from Democracy Now! And
well, I will say this.
I would put that on.
In regards to your statement about the president doesn't control everything, normally I would agree with that, but because the Congress controls the purse strings, they're the ones that authorize war and a lot of other stuff. But when you got a Congress that has just decided to step aside and let them do whatever, and the Supreme Court that just gives the man immunity, we do have one man that's doing everything.
Yeah, but I think Congress is puppets too, bro. It's all controlled by lobbyists. I have a friend whose dad is a lobbyist. I'm going to like a crazy school right now, trying to get my MBA. It's insane. But I have a friend's dad who's a lobbyist, and he's like, bro, the senators, the governors, they don't control shit. Even the president doesn't control shit. It's all a lobbyist. I swear to you, bro.
Well,
and how they succeed is these little like TikTok lives. Like,
you got to take the money from the you got to take the money from the lobbyists spend money to get shit done. I agree with you, but you got to take their money first. Yeah. I mean, some politicians don't take their money, but yeah, I mean, under Trump, under Trump, if Obama had the power of Trump, we would probably have all kinds of gun bans and everybody would have universal health care and tuition would be free. Obama didn't have, so under Trump.
I think they both don't have power, bro. I think they both don't have power. And I think that us like fucking arguing about Obama versus Trump is honestly just making us not look at the fucking lobbyists. And that just makes them more powerful.
I gotta disagree for the simple fact that there is virtually no pushback on the right. I mean, under Biden, you had Manchin and Christian Sinema. You had Democrats even pushing back, Tulsi Gabbard types. There is no pushback for Trump. He started a war, and without any request from Congress, he's already talking about Cuba next. They just, whatever you want to do, sir, go ahead and do it. He's just doing whatever. We're literally at war, and Congress ain't even had a say-so in it yet. And the man is talking about the next country he's about to hit. That ain't happening under nobody else.
I know, but you know how much of that's bullshit? You know that Greenland thing was bullshit, and he says outrageous things, and that's how he gets it done. You know?
You think Greenland was bullshit?
And then meets in the middle. What?
You think the Greenland thing was bullshit?
Yeah, 100% is just a front. I mean, that's proven right now, right?
No, it's not. The European nations rose up and indicated they were ready to fight to defend Greenland. And then he backed down and claims that he made some kind of deal with Greenland, which we've never heard the parameters of.
No. And you know what's crazy is like all that money that we gave to Ukraine, if we would have gave that to Greenland, we could make everybody, because it has like 50,000 people, we could make everyone in Greenland a millionaire. Like imagine that. You on an island, everyone you know, even your kids, get $1 million. And they all said, no, we still don't want to be part of the United States. That's crazy.
Well, shit,
That's crazy.
Our kids go to school, Nikolai, and they don't come home. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to not want to be part of America. People say that America's the best country on earth and all of that. There's a lot of areas of life that America's not the best. If you want to go from nothing to something, you have a really good chance of doing that in America more so than other places. But there's a lot of areas, the happiness index, the literacy rates, the infant mortality rates, the homeless. I mean, there's a lot of areas we're not number one in.
We're not number one. We're not perfect. A lot of people say that we're perfect. We're not perfect. But at the same time, we can't act like spoiled brats and say, fuck America. Because the fact of the matter is, like, I don't know.
But you can criticize. You can criticize America without meaning fuck
We're
America.
allowed to criticize.
Yeah, well, a lot of folks say if you criticize America, well, you should pack up and leave.
Well, see, I see their point too. I see.
How?
Fuck, bro. My ass is tired of sitting on the fence, but bro, I swear to God, like I see both sides of it because, like, yeah, we're not the first. If you look at the socialist countries, why don't we have free healthcare? Why are we obsessed with like military control? That's a little fucked up.
Greed,
in my opinion. At the same time, I can say fuck Trump, and I can go on a platform to say fuck Trump and not worry about my family being in prison, and my head being cut off. You know?
Yeah.
I can eat. You know?
You can do that in most
so
first.
it's like a double-edged sword.
You can get on the stage and say fuck the prime minister or fuck the president in most first world countries. That ain't something, a lot of Americans think that's unique to America. If you, like, I lived in Australia, you could do that in Australia. You can do that in Great Britain. You can do that in many countries. Say screw whoever's in charge, huh?
Can you do that in Britain?
Yeah, that's not against the law to say you don't like the prime minister. Yeah, you can say fuck him.
Okay, I just heard like a bunch of people are being in prison for social media posts.
I know you can say fuck the prime minister in Great Britain. I don't know what they put on social media. Maybe it's a threat or something, but you can criticize your leader in Great Britain. So
yeah, and I don't know. It's also different too because like fucking, we're so much bigger than them. You know.
Yeah, but we're not more free. We are not more. People think in America we have some kind of patent on freedom. You are not more free in America. There's a lot of first world countries that you can do all of the same shit you can do here. You can trade a few freedoms here or there. Like in America, you can go out and buy an Uzi. In Denmark, you can go out and buy a hoe, and it's legal to have a hoe. I mean, so, marijuana has been legal in some of these countries long before it has been in America. So there are things you can do in America, freedoms you have here that you don't have in other countries, but there are freedoms you have in other countries that you don't have here.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. But the grass can always be greener. It can always be shittier.
Yeah.
I think it's a glass half full versus like a glass half empty.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you.
That's what I think.
So, all right, fair enough. I will move it on. But this is our first time talking?
Yeah.
All right, well, I appreciate you coming on.
But,
come on back anytime, man.
Yeah, I respect you, bro.
Thank you.
Please put on that Wesley thing. That's fucking dope. You deserve it.
The Wesley thing? What is that?
Just that Democracy Now! From the dude from
2007. DM that to me. I have to check that out.
Okay,
I do watch Amy.
Put it on the live, bro.
Yeah, I do watch Amy on
It's in the middle.
Yeah, I do watch her. So, all right, appreciate it. Thanks for coming through. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, looking in the comments here, what did I miss here? No one is saying fuck America. Trump is saying Democrats are saying this. Yeah. Well, Trump says Democrats hate America. I cannot tell you how many times I've talked to MAGA and they've said that I hate America. Like, I don't get it because Trump under Biden was criticizing the hell out of this country. We're the laughing stock. Our military is dilapidated. He was saying all kinds of negative things about America. All of a sudden, he became president, and now when you say something negative about America, you hate the country. I don't understand that. I don't understand where free speech was lost. Free speech gives you the right to be critical of your leaders and your nation and not have to pack up and leave your homeland. So, and this is something you hear predominantly from the right. If you don't like America, I hope you pack. You don't hear the liberals talking about people hate America that much. You hear that. That's something that comes from the right. And I don't understand it. I mean, like, you are either for free speech or you're not. You don't tell people to leave their fucking country because they're exercising their free speech rights. So Tim is going full Trump derangement syndrome. He's cooked, says Draco. Full derangement. So is there a half? Can it be done in quarters? Can I go a quarter TDS? America is the best. America is the best. You just, I guess, have to see through a screen instead of experiencing it. America is the best depending on what you favor. It is not the best in every area. It really is. If you fall flat on your face, let's say you got an illness and it prevents you from working, something like that, you get hit by a bus. America's not the best country to be in terms of you need help. You need help. You can't just go out and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work through an injury, get cancer or something like that. You need health care. America's not the best country to be in going through that. America, if you work hard and you have ambitions to be a millionaire, America's the best country to be in. You probably have the best chance here, and that is dwindling, by the way, but you have the best chance here of climbing the social ladder and going from nothing to something. And we do judge a lot on money. You can be stage 4 cancer, divorced from your estranged wife, no relationship with your kids whatsoever. But if you got a lot of money in the bank, we call you successful. We base everything on money. Everything else in your life can be fucked up. But if you're making good money, we actually call you successful. So when we say America's the best country on earth, it's generally money. It's generally revolving around money. It's generally revolving around money and, well, I can have a big fancy house and a big fancy car. It's generally revolved around money and wealth. But as I said, sending your kid to school and the kid not coming home because the kid got shot. Go tell somebody in another country that has seen a bunch of American kids walking out of a school with their hands up how great America is. They're not dealing with that shit. I talked about infant mortality rate, stuff like that. I mean, they seen what happened to Kilmar, Brego Garcia, or George Floyd and that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of countries that stuff ain't happening. They're not dealing with that kind of stuff. They've seen the homeless camps and stuff that you see in California and Texas and places like that. They're not dealing with that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in America that does not rank us at number one. But if you focus solely on money, yeah, we're probably at the top. If you focus solely on money. But in terms of who you want to love, when we're talking about gay rights and all of that shit, we're not the friendliest nation for that. If that's something you care about, I mean, race relations in general, we're not number one in that. There's a whole lot of areas we're not number one. So I'll say America's a great nation. I'm not going to take that away from our country, but I'm not going to automatically say we're at the top and we're number one. I would say we probably get a grade of a B. It's better than average, but I don't put it where it's A plus, stellar. You got freedom. Nobody else is free as us. That ain't true. That stuff is not true. Anyway, looking in the comments says, this right here is why I subbed. Honest. Thank you. Appreciate it. We try. I get bashed. Folks think I'm full of shit oftentimes, but we don't mind that. We take the criticism. Take the good, you take them bad, you take them both. There you had the facts of life. You know how it goes. Anyway, looking in the comments, before we go to the next caller, get us on up to 140 thou. Debating the pros and cons of the U.S. political system show. That's AI telling me that. You only get help after the cancer does its work. Right. Yeah. The way we treat the downtrodden in this country. Have you ever heard of the phrase, you're judged by how you treat the worst among you or something, however that go? We treat the downtrodden in this country pretty bad. I was playing a clip the other day of Charlie Kirk saying that, kids in school shouldn't get free lunch. I don't think hardly any first world country believes that. I think America's one of the only first world countries that you got politicians saying shit like that. If you're a poor kid, you still shouldn't get free lunch in schools. We're not number one in that. I can tell you that ain't number one at all. Ain't nothing number one about that. So if you fall flat on your face and you need some assistance getting up, America is nowhere near number one in terms of that. It says that in the death penalty. Yeah, I don't know. First, in terms of first world countries, who else uses the death penalty? You usually got to go to dictatorships in third world countries to get out of, let's say out of Western Europe. Does any of those countries use the death penalty? I don't think is there any other NATO member nation? Maybe Turkey? Is there any other NATO member nation that uses the death penalty? So I don't think it depends. I mean, a lot of folks in some of those first world countries wish they had the death penalty deal. So it depends on who you're talking to. In the comments here, real quick before we move on, I remember back in the '60s, I remember back in the 60s, kids, their parents had, I guess that means no money, and they would give them free meals even though they didn't have the money to pay for it, says Stephen. Here's the problem with that. Racism. Racism. I wasn't talking about racism, but a lot of the social programs lost their availability when they had to make them available to everybody. Racism. So even like schools, you talk about tuition and stuff. A lot of that stuff used to be available. Once people of color were now in the pool and could get access to it as well, a lot of folks took the mindset of, I would rather blow the program up than let them also have access to it. So racism got rid of a lot of the social programs that they were going towards, because I don't want my money going to those people. So go figure. Anyway, in the box, moving on with the program, we'll go to the one and only King Finn. If I can, what did I just hit there? There we go. King Finn, good evening. Welcome to, what happened?